buzzing straight through the glass, kicking down the door fast.
All right, man. Bussin' It Up podcast. We just gonna get right into it, man. This episode is dedicated to Tupac and Big. I'm Tony.
Wayne. D. Will.
Mike.
Yeah, man. We about to. I don't know who's on the side of Tupac, but we probably gonna go at it today.
I'm with it.
I'm not even gonna lie, but I'm gonna try to be. How can I say this? I'm gonna try to be as objective as possible because I'm super big, like super duper on Biggie's side. I fucking hate Tupac. I love some of his songs, but I really I hate that guy. I hate him. I hate him to this day. I know he's dead. Fuck that nigga. But
when you start hating him when you was like 2?
We gonna get into that because
you
this shit.
Like 2 when he died.
Nah. Relax. I'm proud to turn dirty 30 this year. Alright, what's today? April 7th, April 8th. I turned dirty 30 in 10 days. You know what I mean?
12. I was 12.
I was like 9 when he died, and shit. I'm gonna get right into it. So I remember where I was, and I remember what I was wearing. I remember what time of the day it was when I found out Big died. It was morning time. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. I remember I was in my room in our apartment in Brooklyn, and I was watching the news. My pops was making breakfast. My mom and dad was making breakfast, and I was in my room, just brushed my teeth, ready to start a day. And then I'm looking on the news, and I'm hearing that Biggie died. And the thing is, I was like 8 or 9. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, whatever, what you knew. But that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was very aware of what was going on. First album I ever bought was Big L's album. You know what I'm saying? And I was like 3-4 years old, and I knew what the fuck was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was listening to these guys. I was listening to the beats, and I was listening to what they were saying. A lot of the things I could catch, and a lot of the things I couldn't catch. But a lot of the things that I did catch, I caught it later on in my life. You know what I'm saying? As I lived life. So that's why Biggie and these guys are so important to me. But Ready to Die is one of my favorite albums of all time, if not my favorite album ever. And the reason why that album is so important to me is because if you listen to that album, and this is my big thing with Big, okay? No pun intended. The reason why I love that album so much is because from the beginning to the end, Biggie touches on all the various styles of how to rap, besides the eventual Bone and Biggie type thing, which he did that later on, but that was something that was popping later on. But we going back to 93, and all of the different styles that he touched on in the Ready to Die album, all of the different ways to present the story, or all of the different ways that he rapped, the different types of beats, the different emotions, different parts of his life. He told the story throughout that whole album, and he went through emotions he went through all the emotions that a guy in his position, growing up in his environment, would feel, even down to suicide. Suicidal Thoughts is one of my favorite records from him, because when I first heard it as a young kid, I couldn't fucking believe he said, fuck the world, fuck my mom's and my girl. Like, and then he throws in this weird joke, my life is played out like a Jerry curl. Like, that was when I realized this idea of having these sinister jokes in a serious moment. But you can laugh at it, but you're like, damn, that shit,
it was real.
That shit is real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's why I feel like it's the best album to me ever. I know people are gonna debate me, but I feel like for that dude to do what he did at the age that he did it is amazing. And his album, to this day, when I listen to that album, I still go through parts of every year of my life. Every year of my fucking life, I still go through a phase where for a month fucking straight, I listen to nothing but that album. And it makes me feel the same exact way. And I know that may be a nostalgia thing, because like I said, it's something that I grew up listening to. But I was able to, because I grew up, in Brooklyn, and I can relate to a lot of the things that he said, and I can't relate to a lot of the things that he said, but I can also look at it and try to. You know what I'm saying? And just listening to what he said and thinking about where that kid was, man, because he was a kid, bro. Like, he was a kid when he made that album, really. Yeah. Like, you look at a lot of these 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, and you look at them now and you're like, you still a kid.
Right.
But what the fuck was he on to make something so crazy at that age? And to think on that level and to live so much life and to be so wise and full of wisdom and so sure of himself. Like, when I listen back to that album, it doesn't even make sense to me. Like, I can look back right now as a 29-year-old man, and when I was 19, 20, 21, and I couldn't even put myself to think the way he thought when he was making that album, or put any thoughts together the way he did in the album. And I know that Pac had a lot of talent, and he was a very, wisdom-filled man as well. It's just I could relate to Biggie more because I felt, and here's where this is where the debate's gonna come in. I felt like Biggie was more authentic in bringing back situations that he actually lived through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think Pac, me personally, I think Pac lived through a lot of crazy shit, but I think Pac also was speaking hypothetically and coming up with situations probably based on other people's lives, which is okay. You know what I'm saying?
I think, for me, I think that what you're saying about Pac is funny because back in the day, there was a lot of time where Tupac annoyed the hell out of me back in the day. Because I'd be like, bro, you 1 minute you saying this and the next minute you saying that.
Yeah.
As I got older, I appreciated it for what it really was a person who was honest at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
At that given moment, he was going to be honest with how he felt at that moment.
Right.
And anybody who does that is going to look like a big contradiction.
Right.
You know what I mean? If we're honest and we're willing to say how we feel at that moment,
Right.
we're going to look crazy to somebody on the outside. And that's why I see what you're saying. But later on, like I said, I came to appreciate what that actually was.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yo, this dude is a nut. Like, 1 minute he's saying this, the next minute he's saying that. But then I'm like, yo, if one day I'm talking to my boys about politics, and then the next day I'm at the club, if I take both conversations, I'm going to sound like a hypocrite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I came to appreciate. But at the same time, one thing with Big that I think a lot of people don't do, and this ain't taking nothing away from Big, you got Biggie and you got Diddy. Then you got the album. Half of that persona was Diddy.
Yeah.
On what album?
The first album.
Not really.
Big Papa
Why? Why you
Big
think that?
Papa. Big Papa was a Diddy creation.
Mm-hmm.
Biggie Smalls was Christopher Wallace. Big
Right.
Papa, Diddy made that up. And let's be honest, until what was it, the remix of the One More Chance remix, that's what solidified him. That was Diddy. Not taking nothing away from Big, because Big did all the rhymes.
Nah, but you right though. Remember that for that Juicy. Remember that Big said. I think that was the interview Big had.
He
was
didn't like that
I
beat.
ain't want to do that. He ain't like that whole vibe.
But
He ain't like that whole vibe. Like that was Diddy behind that. Like,
Diddy was behind, like, so if you listen to the Ready to Die album, you can listen to the songs, you can hear a lot of the shit that he did with Mr. C. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the shit that he was doing when he was still on the come up. You know what I mean? And then you can hear the songs that he did with Diddy when Diddy finally said, all right, I'm gonna step in. Because the songs like Party and Bullshit and obviously, Suicidal Thoughts, Machine Gun Funk, a lot of those Easy Mo beats, that was all through C. You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying, but I think if I had to put my finger on it, I would say that the Diddy influence really came after the Juicy record popped off, because they had to push the Juicy record as the single for Ready to Die. But I would say he really took over when the Life After Death album came out. That sounds like a total Diddy, like Diddy it. You know what I'm saying? But in my opinion.
You said for Life After Death it sound more Diddy than Ready to Die?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
I think the songs that
the Hitmen produced almost that whole album.
Who did Unbelievable? Was that Easy?
Unbelievable? No, Unbelievable was DJ Premier. I think DJ Premier. Yeah, DJ Premier did that beat, and that was on Ready to Die.
Ready to Die, yeah.
So you got excuse me. Life After Death has One More Chance. It has I Got a Story. Is it? No. What's Beef? Is it What's Beef? Yeah. That's when they start going into more of those old jazzy samples. And that was what Diddy would do. Diddy would find these songs that nobody would try to flip, that nobody would think to flip. The Juicy record, and that was a precursor to what he was going to do. Right, that was a precursor to what he was eventually gonna do for the Life After Death album, and that's when he really like the Hitmen, his group, his production group. That was Stevie J. It was a bunch of people, Harv, all those people. They were like the guys that like mostly produced that album, because if you listen to the Ready to Die album, right, and then there was a Tupac album that I was listening to. Man. They were basically using the same producers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Easy Mo B was.
Yeah, Easy Mo B was doing, and that's another guy. Like, not to get into I'm a producer, so not to get into that. But that dude really fucking is one of the greatest producers ever. But that's another story. But it was a lot of the same producers. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, but you can hear in Life After Death where he just like totally went away from that. And that was Diddy. And that's why when you say that, I agree with you, but I agree with you not so much on Ready to Die. I think he was prepping him for Life After Death was totally that.
The reason I say that, it wasn't as much Ready to Die, the album, it was...
his persona.
Right, we put Ready to Die out. Peep, the streets love this. What are we going to get for that? Everybody to love him. They came with the One More Chance remix.
Right.
And when you listen to the original One More Chance... and the One More Chance remix, they're two totally different songs.
Yeah.
That was that's you, Big. One More Chance 1, that's what you would do.
Yeah, my twist
Let me show you how you really do this.
Right.
I'm gonna make you a star. And then when that when that came out, he was a star. The ladies loved him. That set him up to do. Before that, he was a good dude who was rapping.
Right.
He was a pure lyricist.
But that's why he was a good dude. He wasn't a star yet.
Mm-hmm.
Juicy was like, yeah, he could be a star.
Right.
One More Chance. Remix was like, nah, he can do, this is what he do all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Juicy was a classic. I ain't taking nothing.
Yeah,
like, I'm not taking away nothing from him, because that was his producer. It's like Dr. Dre and NWA, they go together. But I think a lot of people really don't want to give Diddy his credit.
They don't.
For what he really brought to the table.
He really is a brilliant, he is a brilliant mind. Like, he does know, he has an ear for hits. And the good thing about Diddy is that Diddy really do be picking shit that you would never think. And he goes in, he can make an artist go into a direction. And you know how I knew he was great? Because Jay let him take over on that American Gangster album, and that fucking album.
And he said it came back a different album.
That album grew on everybody. Years later, I hear a lot of people start to bring that up, like, yo, I was listening to that American Gangster, and it's like, when you first heard it, you couldn't really get it too much. I think because the time frame that we was in, where everybody's mind frame was in the culture, I don't know if it really resonated too, like, direct. But I think as people grew, it grew. And I think now I'm hearing a lot more people throw that in their top 5 J albums, or even top 3. I even heard somebody say it was one of his best albums.
That's one of my favorites.
You know what I mean? And Diddy produced that, executive produced that whole shit. So for Jay-Z to let him take over and do something like that, and you see what he's doing with French. French always got at least a fresh, strong hit every year. You know what I mean? He's always present. You know what I mean? But I think you're right. Like, when Big let Diddy just go ahead and take control of the musical direction, he knew all he had to do was just put his lyrics on it.
And even with like, because I don't want to sound like I'm taking away from Big, because it ain't like Diddy could have did it without Big.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was a partnership, but now I hear people say stuff like, yo, I love Biggie, but I can't stand Diddy. To me, that's just...
it's like he made him...
It's hard to do both. I mean, I get it, you can, but you really don't know what's going on if that's what you're saying.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if you love Biggie, there's a part of Diddy you love.
But you know what's crazy? Have you ever heard the rumor that the reason why Biggie died is because he was getting ready to start the commission, and he was going to sign Big L, he was going to sign Cam, he was going to sign Nas, a whole bunch of rappers. So that was a rumor in New York. Growing up, like maybe like 5-6 years after he died, right?
Didn't he already have Undias though?
Huh?
He already had Undias though with Junior
That's
Mafia.
He was gonna sign
Junior
Cam,
Mafia came out under Undias.
What happened was
Cam and all that.
What happened was Cam even talked about it. I think Cam talked about it when he went live.
Yeah.
Because he even said how he met Big, and he Big told him he liked what he do and whatever. I heard that Big was, after that Life After Death album, he was getting ready to cut ties with Puff.
Yeah, I heard that part too.
And he was going to start his own label called The Commission. And The Commission was supposed to be fucking crazy. It was supposed to have Kim, the whole Junior Mafia, so you know what that includes.
Right.
You got Kim C's and whoever else was on there. And then it was supposed to be Foxy. It was supposed to be Cam, AZ. That firm shit.
Yeah.
That I heard that was something that Big threw out there.
Yeah, the commission.
Because
they
Big
even
was
said in songs.
Yeah. So a lot of these rumblings, Big L, yo, if that shit would have happened, fam. Like, who would Jay be?
What year did Big L die though?
Big L died.
Ho was gonna be Ho.
Ho was gonna be Ho. But Ho was supposed to be involved with the commission.
Honestly,
that's what I heard.
I think
might have been
Ho wasn't with Dame yet.
Big would have did that and messed it all up.
No, because Hove at the time, I heard that Hove and him
he was a good rapper.
Who?
That don't mean he was a good businessman. No, Big.
Yeah,
he was a good rapper.
You never know.
I know
you can't. You don't know if he's gonna be successful.
We don't know though. That's what I'm saying. The shit that breaks my heart.
It's in the middle. It's in the middle. You don't know if he's gonna be successful. Or you don't know if he would have fucked it up.
But
that's true. So I think about that a lot. I think where would he be?
Right.
But I don't know, man, because
if you go back to what I said, where would he have been without Diddy? So
if
you walk away from him,
that's
you gonna be where you was at.
That's absolutely
true.
Make
a Machine Gun Funk all day trying to make that your single.
I don't think he would have been on that level though. I really do think Big would have probably stopped rapping in like 2001. If he would have made it another 5 more years, man.
If he would have did that, he would have stopped rapping before that.
I think he would have been a boss. I think he would have been like a boss, and I think the dynamic would have been way different. I think Nas still would have been where he's at because he's weird, right? He likes to be an introvert. But I think him and Jay and Cam, because if you look at Cam right now. Cam has been in the game low key. I know this is weird because it's so fucking funny because like everywhere, like lately, Cam just keeps coming up. You ever notice how when rappers start talking, Cam always pops up somehow? Whether it's in fucking 95 or it's in 2006, those two nice eras that we had. You know, yo, Cam, if he really wanted to, and I think if certain people would have stayed alive like Big L and Big, to give you an example, and if Mace wouldn't have turned into a fucking weirdo, where would Cam be right now in how we put him in royalty? I put him in my top 5 favorite people of all time, right? But that's just me. But I'm just thinking like his rap career probably would have been way more prestigious, and I think his projects would have been way more serious for a longer stretch of time before he got goofy. You understand what I'm saying? Because I think Cam got goofy after he got those checks. You know, Cam ran up a couple M's, you know, in his empire, so unique. But could you imagine what we would have had, like this structure that we have now with Jay and Puff and how they're doing this whole black-owned thing? It probably would have started way earlier if we would have had, I think Big was that central nucleus, bro, for everybody. Whether Jay is a boss, but we all know that. I think Jay would have stood on his own regardless. I'm not saying that he wouldn't have. Honestly, I just think that Big was that fucking glue. I think
Big was a boss
that kept everybody happy.
As a rapper, you don't think he would have been?
I think out of the whole
he was a boss, bro.
Dudes, he wasn't a boss. He was the rapper.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I can see that though. I can see that being the case.
Even if you listen to his rhymes, he was rapping about being on the corner.
Well, he was a hustler.
Jay was rapping about big boy stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
That to me,
they different.
He was gonna be that regardless. Jay-Z never needed a Diddy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
that's true.
But musically or business wise. But like what's your name? He was waiting for Diddy to come pick him up in the hood. Like I'm hungry if you don't come. He ain't had no plan.
Yo, but
he was gonna be selling rocks if Diddy ain't pull up.
But you know what I mean? But when you look at it, when you look at Jay though, I mean, how many pages?
He was independent.
How many pages out of Biggie's book did Hov take throughout his career that added to his success? So when you look at it like that,
but give us some examples.
Okay, his swag, the way he would swag on his raps.
That was Diddy swag. I mean, that was a Diddy swag.
No, I'm talking about Jay.
No, but I'm saying
Big.
I mean,
come on. You all right, look, all right.
You think Jay took that from Big?
No.
Big was partying bullshit and Machine Gun Funk.
Big had this swag about him and this moniker about him that was infectious, and you could tell even in little things that was documented with him. His swag, he didn't get that from Diddy.
I think he had personality. Like
his personality as well. He was just the way he carried himself. He was real nonchalant. He was real, but he was also confident at the same time. Funny cat. He had a nice style about himself for a big guy with the we still rock the Coogis. You know what I'm saying? Like, he came up with that. I don't know who told him how to do that. I didn't see Diddy. No, come on. Nah. He's trolling. He's trolling. He's trolling. You're trolling right now. I know you're trolling. Come on, man. Diddy was wearing fedoras. Diddy was wearing fedoras back then.
Put this white suit on and this hat on, you gonna look fly.
For the video.
That's what he told me? He said, Diddy said all that up. Let's get back to the Biggie and Pac.
Right.
We start talking about that.
My bad, I'm sorry. Yeah.
But
it's hard to talk about these guys because so many people intertwine into their lives, man.
Yo, you said something that was worth noting though. He said how Tupac, like, I mean, one of his knocks was he'd be talking one thing and then do the next. I mean, and then you start respecting that as
honesty.
Yeah. It was honesty. He was being real at the end of the day. So I go back to like even in all his raps and his actions for Tupac. But when you go back to Big and you say, yo, Big was living the stuff that he was talking about. But then, like, I'm a big fan over Pac. So I'm not saying this in no way. Like, but yeah, for this interview, I want to be neutral about it because Big said some stuff in his raps, and then he interviewed his mom. Was like, yo, she was like, yo, we didn't grow up like that.
That's not true.
You know what I mean? No, his mom said that. So I can't sit there and say nothing ain't true. His mom said, look, when he's talking about how he was raised in the house, there was roaches here, his mom was like, yo.
She was a teacher.
Yeah, his mom was like, yo, she said, I always made, she said, my son, I compared it to myself. My mom was a fucking, my mom always worked. I ain't need to fucking hustle. But it was some things that when the New Jersey came out and shit that I wanted to go get, and my house was the block. So Big might have been in one of them situations where like, yo, my mom got it, but she ain't got it all. Like, she can get me a nice pair of Nikes to go to school, but she can't get me the Jordans. You know what I mean? All my niggas is outside hustling and shit. I jumped in the game because of that. She said it wasn't a story to where like, yo, we was fucked up. I had cheese sandwiches and roaches was calling out the cereal box. She like, nah, we ain't grow up like that. So Big told a story that was relatable to a lot of people, but it might not have been him. But you remember you said that's okay. In your opinion, you said that's okay. So you can't knock Pac for doing some stuff like that, and then say, okay, it's okay for Big. You know what I mean? Not saying you specific. I'm saying anybody that's listening to them both. They both like said some shit that just wasn't them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
so you done? No, because I fully understand what you're saying. But here's the thing: where he grew up in Bed-Stuy, it's been documented where he grew up.
No. It's not about where you. Nah, hell no. No. I'm not saying that. The area.
Personal situation.
Yeah, I'm talking about him.
I was getting ready to get into that.
All right.
In Bed-Stuy, where he grew up, it's rough, obviously. And let me just. This is gonna be a funny point to make to be a rebuttal. His mom is a Caribbean mother. All right.
Oh yeah.
Anybody here else come from Caribbean background? No. I am half Puerto Rican. My mom completely denies the struggle that we grew up in when we were younger. Right. Like, she don't remember. She don't want to remember. And when we bring it up in family gatherings, she's like, "That never happened." No, because you know why? Because they don't want anybody to know about their struggle. They only want everybody to know about where they're at now. Right. So that's what I attribute that to. So his mom's Jamaican mother. Yeah. They deny that they gave you ass whippings when you was younger. Like my mom, she denies ever giving me an ass whipping. Them joints was crazy, right? She denies like, all the shit that we went through, which is funny and it's cool and it's cute, whatever. That's what I attribute that to. But I'm not gonna say that he came from the slums and, a lot of that shit is obviously exaggerated in your raps. Right. But I think I know that his street record, right, in the streets and being in some shit and hustling and all that shit, that's certified. That's
yeah. Nah, we never.
But here's my rebuttal to this though. My rebuttal to Tupac. Here's my issue with Tupac. All right, so Biggie may have not grown up in certain circumstances that he may have said. Maybe some of it was exaggerated. Maybe some of it was just a flat out lie. You know what I mean? Maybe it was just done for the sake of the music to give an added
rap would be really boring if people didn't do that.
Yeah. That's what I said.
That's kind of what I would attribute that to. Right. And here's my beef with Tupac. All right, Biggie didn't grow up in performing arts school.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew he was gonna hit that.
And he wasn't Biggie only ever claimed Brooklyn, my nigga. He only ever claimed the block he's from, Bed-Stuy and Brooklyn.
That's already.
Tupac claimed Brooklyn. Tupac claimed New York. He done claimed Baltimore. Then this nigga all of a sudden is from Oakland. And
know
he's a
what,
blood.
though?
But I can't. You can't not. But
That's mad fake, fam.
No, hold on.
He lived there.
hold on,
He actually
hold on.
grew up in them places.
Yeah, like he
Talk
has
to me.
That's
Because
what I'm
I
saying.
remember
Like,
when I was younger, nigga, he was claiming Brooklyn, and all of a sudden it's
I'm saying, but
all of a sudden it's Oakland.
But at the same time, you can't knock him for some of the. He's going to these places.
Okay.
I mean, he was born in Baltimore, or he was raised.
He was born in Baltimore.
and then went to New York, and then went to, like he was
His first
actually.
name was MC New York.
Yeah, he was actually bouncing around to these places and going through a lot of things there. So my thing is this: if I'm going through a whole bunch of bullshit in my town, if I'm from New York and I'm going through a whole bunch of bullshit and I just gotta leave for whatever reason, I go out to Cali. Yeah. Everybody out there showing me love. You know what I mean? These are my peoples. This is where I spend a lot of my life at.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with him. Like that's like you come from New York.
Yeah.
That's like you just totally shitting on York, even though you spent probably 10 years here.
Yeah, roughly.
Roughly 10 years here. That's like
Yeah.
you just totally shitting on York. When you, I mean, quite frankly, you're 29. You came here at what, 19?
No, I came here at 23.
Okay, I thought you said 10. All right.
I said roughly.
So 20. All right, roughly. All right.
It's all right, man.
Not to be exact, but I'm just
Nah.
using an example. But I mean, just say
Yeah.
you made about 10 years here. You're not gonna just totally say, yo, fuck York. I don't got nothing to do with York. Like, quite frankly, you learned a lot here. Like,
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, you gotta wherever you going, you're gonna rep wherever you from. Big ain't going nowhere. Not that he never go, but he living in New York.
Yeah.
So that's all he gonna talk about. Like, if you
Right.
take me, I'm from the Parkway side of York. If you take me, and I never went to nowhere else at all, I would never say nothing about York. I'm gonna just say Parkway. You know what I mean? And you know how we grew up out there, it's all family. You know what I mean? That's what I'm a rep. Just my neighborhood and I you know what I mean? But after a while, it's like, yo, all right, I gotta get the fuck out of that type of shit. Like I'm traveling the world. I mean, we all say like, yo, we need to travel the world. We need to see the world. Like I don't feel like
I was
nothing
gonna
wrong
say,
with
I give you this. When he did it, at the end it was corny.
At the end, what do you mean?
When he was like F New York at the end,
When it was all this West Side shit,
that
let's
was corny.
get into the fuckery.
That was corny to me.
Because
like as coming up, all right, I lived from 9 to 14 somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I went from 14 to 17 somewhere. 17, all three of them places, they were part of me growing
Exactly.
up. There was a significant. But when I'm 25, and on my last album, I had the old school song, and the last thing I say on the song is Brooklyn in the house.
Yeah.
And then I get mad because I signed a deal, and then I like F New York. That was corny.
Right.
Yeah.
That was corny. Now, repping the places you grew up,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. But you can't just be like, oh, F New York, because
Yeah.
the dudes I was chilling with from New York got me shot.
Yeah. I think
That was corny.
I think
You know what I mean?
But that's my whole beef with it.
Yeah, that
it's
was
like
corny.
now all of a sudden this, and I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah.
I appreciate you saying that because that's the reason why. And here's another thing. It wasn't even Big that set it up.
I agree that.
There's so much fucking corny bullshit that Pac did
Yeah,
that was so trash.
He knew that.
But see, this is my issue. And that's why you didn't like the Funk Flex rant.
No, I didn't.
I thought it was
It was
unnecessary, but it was fucking real because the reason why Flex cried on that shit is because the same way, all right, I forgot to tell y'all, when I saw the news that Biggie died when I was 9, I was crying. Because he still is very important to me.
Right.
Very important to me. But, you know, it's like, I knew that he didn't have to die for this shit.
Right.
And Pac knew that this shit went too fucking far, but he was playing around too much. And that's how I know for a fact that nigga ain't built for this shit. Because he really didn't understand what these streets, like, it's just like Tekashi 6ix9ine, like I was telling you and like I was telling you a while back. It's the same type of antics. In that particular situation, that's some Tekashi 6ix9ine shit. Because it's like, you over here, you wilding out, you fucking with niggas like Jimmy Henchman, Haitian Jack, you fucking with everybody that's rocking with Biggie, you know, D-Rock, all them niggas. And then you bring in some whole other side of the country in there with some real niggas. You know what I'm saying? That live and die by a certain culture, and you starting some shit, and it ain't even based on nothing.
Yeah,
It's not based on nothing, and it's fucking whack. Now all of a sudden, you got niggas going West Side and East Side, and you used your influence for negativity, and then you ended up getting yourself killed and another person killed that really had nothing to do with it. Real niggas from the streets, and I'm not a gangster. Never grew up to be a gangster, but I've been around niggas, and they taught me a few things. You know what I'm saying? Real niggas wouldn't have did that shit. That's corny. Well, you starting beef for clout. He was clout chasing.
I ain't even gonna lie.
He was a fucking clout chaser.
I was saying that a long time ago.
And that's why I hate that nigga right now to this day.
I love Pac. I try not to look at both of them through the lens of their beef because, like you said, it was so much. It really wasn't even a Tupac
and Biggie thing.
Biggie beef.
He just wanted clout.
You know what I mean?
He wanted to start some drama to get himself popping. Just
Tupac
like Tekashi.
as an artist, I think he was a prophet. You know what I mean? He ain't even know it. You know what I mean? At the time, he ain't even know it. But that was corny though, because at the end of the day, he knew who did it. If you listen to Against All Odds, he says it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Jimmy
Haitian Jack. Jimmy,
Haitian Jack.
he says it. You know what I mean? And it all had to do really with that rape case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's really what it had to do.
That's interesting. I didn't know
That's
that.
where it
Yeah,
started?
there was his codies.
Oh wow.
His code
You know
defense.
that? No.
Yeah. That's
Didn't know
what it
that.
was about.
Wow, I thought
Yeah.
you know.
Didn't know that.
That's
Yeah,
what the
you
whole
gotta check that out.
shooting was really over. You know what I mean? All right, you the dude, you got something to lose in this. You probably gonna tell.
We gonna
handle this. And then he had his gun with him, shot himself. Everybody was like,
Another corny move. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This nigga is not.
That's not.
Yeah, but you can't like you can't just you gotta let me play devil's advocate.
Go ahead, because I told you on the rip, I'm totally Biggie, so I hate that nigga.
Yeah. So
Holla.
yeah, you did say that. From the
I
rip.
hate him. So,
But
I'm gonna listen though.
I want to play devil's advocate though
Do
because
it.
at the end of the day, Pac was corny for that, like going on there screaming big, and you like you said, you knew who did it. But now I'm not saying Biggie did know nothing at all. But when you come, if you tell me to come somewhere,
Yeah.
or you don't tell me to come somewhere, but I know you there, and you guys, they said C's was up top saying, "No, big up here, whatever," and then first you walk in and you get shot. The first thing in your mind at that moment is going to be, these niggas set me up.
Okay.
I
You know
understand.
what I mean? These niggas set me up. So, but after a while, once he settled in, he should have realized, oh, this shit ain't had nothing to do with them. But it's hard not to look at that when you got these niggas right upstairs and then right downstairs, this shit happens to you. You know what I mean? How did they know you was coming? What the hell was going on? What the hell happened? So you got to look at devil's advocate, Pac. I mean, something happened in the mix of something. I might not have been big, but somebody somewhere said Pac is on his way.
You know what?
Because why was them niggas sitting down there waiting for that shit to happen? Somebody set something up. Now, it might not have been Tupac and Big, but somebody in the mix of something set something up. And that's why he was saying...
He knew though.
No,
he knew.
He didn't know at that particular
time.
moment.
He knew afterward.
When he was in the hospital bed in one of those documentaries, and I'm gonna be freestyling this right now, but I'm 100% one of those documentaries. Somebody said when they was in the hospital, they was telling him who it was, and he was like, I know, but we gonna start this shit up. We about to start some shit. And he wanted to do that shit with Big because he knew it was gonna make him popular. He knew he had a project.
He knew who called him to the studio.
He knew who did, bro. He knew.
Jimmy Henchman
He
called him
wasn't
to the
even
studio.
going to the studio to be with Big.
He was going for a Little
Yeah,
Sean record.
I know that.
Yeah.
He didn't know Big was there. And this is the thing that happened. At first, they called and said, hey, we need you on this Lil Sean record.
Yeah.
This is how much money I need.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, we ain't got it. 10 minutes later, now we got it.
Yeah.
That's where the setup came.
Exactly.
Jimmy Henchman set him up. He didn't know Big was going to be there. Big didn't know he was going to be there. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the little C's looking out the window thing, but he should have known when Jimmy Henchman called him 1 minute and Lil Sean didn't have the money, and 5 minutes later, you got the money.
Another reason why I know he ain't built for this. Go ahead, keep going.
And then he
you need to know when you being set up for the okie doke, my nigga.
But I think his main thing too was, Big had a persona like he's a boss, a mafioso.
On TV.
But if you claim that though, in a big state like New York, and I'm not sure, I'm looking for a certain information on who might have set me up or shot me, you should have that pull.
Not if you, as a rapper, I know.
But that's how
Pac was a rapper. He wasn't an audience member who didn't know what was behind the veil.
Listen,
that's what Pac said.
But the thing is, Pac was dealing with the real bosses, so he knew Big wasn't a boss.
Yeah,
that's true.
He was dealing with them dudes. That's why even in the movie, he came and say, "Yo, leave them dudes alone." Yeah. That was something that really happened. Yeah. So at the end of the day, like he knew. Tut, all of them dudes, they was the bosses. Big was rapping trying to be like them. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong.
Chaz, all them guys.
Yeah, like Big was a rapper. He represented the bosses, but he wasn't one.
That's
you know
what 90% of these rappers. You know what I'm saying?
But I think Pac was just, well, both of them, they were like really naive and they had so much power at a young age that...
Well, the influence, and that's where there's so much, my hate for this motherfucker is like an onion, fam. Layer after layer is reason after reason why I feel like he was very irresponsible.
No, he wasn't.
They was young as shit, though. They was young as
I
shit.
agree.
Very young.
They was young.
And I get that. But it's sad that one person in close in age could carry himself the totally opposite way as another person. You know what I'm saying?
Raised different. They raised different.
Yeah, way different.
Well, let's talk about it because
America,
that's the thing I'm saying right there. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's like Big was raised a certain way, and may not be exactly how his records was projected, but so was Tupac. But it's just, I feel like when you look at Big and his life growing up and what he's claiming, I will take that over what Tupac was claiming, because Tupac really wasn't raised like Big, and he was trying to claim. First of all, he claimed like 3 different, personalities and upbringing growing up, until he finally got to this super gangster, blood rag tied around his head, spitting at the police and all this shit. You could just tell that he really never been in a pressure situation when he was younger on a street level, because of the way he handled himself when he finally was met with those situations. I.e., he shot himself first before these niggas shot him in the hallway. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he was like a total because
he wasn't.
He was moving. He might have been in the art school, but his mom was a fiend. That wasn't a good life.
That's what I'm saying. It ain't like he didn't come from no struggle.
He went from
it's documented. He was.
Yeah, you can't
raised from poverty.
I can be at art school every day with the same clothes on.
I was looking at an interview from I don't even know what, and it's so funny because I was looking at this one interview that he was doing when he was a kid and he was in art school, and I was looking at this interview that he was doing when he was in art school, and he was like, I just want to accentuate. He was using all these words.
Oh, when he was 17.
It was very weird looking at a person go from that to hit where he eventually was in his personality, before he passed away.
Well, he didn't have a father figure at that time.
Absolutely, and that I'm not gonna get too much into like his feminism and all that. I do think a few feminism ways. I agree. 100%.
Circumstances can change you a lot though too, man.
Absolutely, and I'm not that part. I just bring it up just to touch on the extreme change, which people do make changes.
Yeah,
people go through some shit. And you never know where your life's gonna make you, like where your life's gonna turn, and what type of person you're gonna end up being based on the situations. He may have went through some circumstances at that time or going forward that changed him and made him into who he was. Right. But what my overall point is that where he ended in his life, personality wise, his impact. I'm just saying he really wasn't built like what he was trying to say he was. And Big was consistent throughout his whole life, leading up to his death as a man, as an artist, as whatever he ended. You know what I'm saying? His life as. And that was my issue with Pac, is like, and then he started this whole big shit and got all these people hurt, killed. It fucked me up. And then when the niggas really started dying off this shit, that's what pissed me off. Yeah. Because even as a young kid, I knew that this nigga was starting some shit and he didn't know anything about what he was doing. He was just starting shit because everybody knew that Big had nothing to do with it. And everybody knew that Big was just trying to get money at that point. Come on, look at the records he was making.
I think after a while though, them Pac started saying like
it was too late.
The beef was already on, but he started saying like, he basically was in a sense saying like, yo, I know Big ain't had nothing to do with it, but you know who did it. Like, you know who did it. Like,
that's what I was saying.
That's you, my man.
That's what I was saying earlier. That's
what they was cool.
That was my point earlier.
Right, but see,
that was my point earlier.
All right, but what you said earlier, and I didn't mean to cut y'all off, is that why didn't you holler at your man when you touched down? C said it. I didn't even know this nigga was in town. He said I was smoking an L on the porch, and I've been to Quad Studios. You can look over 48th
Street. But you can't look at it like that and say, you can't say, oh damn, you should have just called and checked in. Pac is looking at it. This guy just got shot.
Right.
Hit up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So his reaction is rage right now. Everything he's going through rage. That's it. So you can't blame him for thinking like, damn, like, all right, I got set up. Initially, he thought Big and him had something to do with it. After a while, like you said, he was in the hospital. He figured it out. They didn't have nothing to do with it. But at the same time, do you motherfuckers know y'all was in the same studio? Do you? I know. I'm talking about before. This is why he was pointing at Big. Yeah. At first he was saying y'all set me up, but after a while, it's like, yo, damn, you supposed to be my man though.
Right.
Like, what's going on over there? Like, who did that? Like, tell me what happened.
Right. But and I hear what you're saying, and you're right in certain aspects. But the one aspect that you're wrong in is that, yo, bro, he knew the whole time, even when it was happening. You feel me, Wayne? The problem is that. See, here's the thing. I tell people all the time. You know your truth in your head, but you can project whatever you want the perception to be. He knew the truth. And people around him now recently are saying that he knew the truth. It's just what he chose to say as opposed to what he actually knew. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Like, when he was in the hospital bed, people that came out recently in them documentaries that from his side said, yo, he knew. But he knew what he thought it was going to be a strategic move to start this whole beef because he had already met with Suge. You understand what I'm saying? And Suge was already putting the bug in his ear. Suge just got Dre, so Suge was on top.
So you think that was still? You think that was still behind? You think that was Suge at the end of the day?
I think it played perfect. If you ask me, Jimmy Henchman's the biggest dickhead in this whole thing.
No, I'm talking about as far as that how the stance Pac took on it. You think that was Suge behind him saying like,
no,
fuck that, turn this into
I think
drama.
I think it was fear.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think Jimmy Henchman fucked everything up. If you really, really, really want to look at this shit like crazy, I hate Jimmy Henchman more than I hate Tupac. Because Jimmy Henchman doing that is what caused Tupac to run to Suge out of fear. And here's where you said something is like, once he realized that he wanted to take this back, Tupac, I'm saying, he realized, oh fuck, I ran into the devil's arms because Suge did not give a Frenchman's fuck what he wanted. Right. He came and fell right into his arms. And Jimmy Henchman's bullshit was what made him go right to Suge. And this is why I'm saying that Pac really wasn't built for this. Because everybody knew. Anybody in the streets would know. You ain't going to business with this guy. And then eventually came out that Suge was fucking him over business-wise. And he was just a thug with a record label and a lot of money.
Choice.
But in a stance,
he had a choice.
Yeah, but at the same though, Suge came through.
He wanted to.
You can't. Suge came through for Pac when nobody else did.
Exactly. He absolutely did, but he fucked him. He didn't have nothing.
That's
He didn't
after
have
the
nothing
fact,
to show
though.
for it.
That's after the fact. When Pac locked up, what do you need? $2 million to get out?
Like
or some
1.5
shit?
or
Yeah.
1.5, and Suge put that up when nobody else, nobody around in the music industry would. So you can't. At that moment, if I'm sitting there in jail and I need 1.5, who the fuck gets out on $1.5 million bail? I mean, if somebody comes bail me out of jail 1.5, that's my fucking man.
Right.
Point blank, period. Whatever happened after that is what happened after that. You know what I mean? But Suge came to that man's aid, so you can't. He owed Suge basically. You know what I mean? Which, in a sense, you said Biggie was about to leave.
Can I say?
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
You said Biggie was about to leave Bad Boy.
No, not yet.
No. I'm not saying this particular time. You said before they died, Biggie was about to leave Bad Boy.
Afterlife, after death.
Okay, but did you know Pac was about to leave Death Row?
Yeah, but that's why he died.
Okay, so that right there is they both went through the same shit.
But here's the thing, and you make a point, but it's not correlating with my point. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the reason why Suge bailed him out is because at that point Pac already burnt all his bridges. Yeah, Pac was already calling out everybody that was there from the start, and everybody that was there from the start, besides Shock G, was from the East Coast. He was doing all this shit and Wild 'N Out in the beginning wearing the leather vest because of Haitian Jack and Henchman. You understand what I'm saying? And Big was obviously in New York, so he's very in tune with what was going on in the streets over there. But when that shit happened, when he got locked up after that, because he got locked up for the possession of the weapon too. You understand? He shot himself, the dumb nigga. You know what I'm saying? So when he was locked up and then he's talking all this shit, you understand what I'm saying? He's talking all this shit. These niggas ain't bailing him out. Yeah, nobody in New York is gonna bail him out. He's calling everybody in New York saying pussy, them niggas ain't got my back. You called the whole state out, and that whole state affected the whole coast.
But at the end of the day,
so that's why Suge was the only one that came for him.
But it don't matter. He still came. So,
I agree.
So the point is, you put 1.5 up.
But he's bullied him. He bullied him.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
That man.
We don't know what the conversation was in jail when they were talking.
Know that he had him sign a contract that was on a napkin. That ain't no good.
Yeah, we knew. Yeah, we knew that.
I feel both sides.
That man he got that man out of jail.
I know you shitting on me. I know what your intentions are, but right now, I don't care.
I gotta get out.
I want to get out.
And that's why I said I blame Henchman for that. He wouldn't have ran into Suge's arms if this situation wouldn't have came out. You know what I'm saying? Like if he would have never had that situation, that nigga probably would have signed with Puff. To be honest with you, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
The reality of it is too,
because him and Big were really fucking good.
Name was trying to holler at Big too. A lot of people don't know that. Suge.
Oh yeah.
Suge was trying to get Big to leave and come to. That was a lot
because Suge already benefited off
Suge hated Puff at the end of the day.
Well, Suge already benefited from the NWA. It's so fucking crazy how Suge did it. You know what I mean? But Suge wouldn't have been able to fully accomplish that if the situation wouldn't have happened at Quad with Tupac and Henchman's people. Yeah. And that's why I blame Henchman for this shit too. Yeah. But I blame Tupac for knowing the truth and choosing to do something else with it.
Right.
You know, and that was where he was fucking irresponsible and everybody. And this is where we're at now. We're talking about two people that aren't here, which sucks.
If you look, P. Diddy did an interview the next day, and they asked him about it. He was standing in front of Quad Studios, and he said, Tupac knows who did it.
See what I'm saying?
He's just afraid of the people who really did it. He'd rather make it a rap beef. He was like, because he know them dudes who did it really ain't playing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's where I totally agree with you. He knew. And I thought that whole part was corny, but it's still hard for me to look at Tupac through the lens of that because there's, how you saying he wasn't built for that? There's levels to this built for that.
Yeah.
He was playing with some real gangsters that even the dudes on the street who street dudes wasn't built for them dudes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you
Pop,
could be
Pop
the
would
street.
go to war.
Yeah,
man.
but you see it, but you see that a lot now though.
Yeah, but henchmen and them dudes,
No,
they
them
was
niggas
a
was-
different type of level.
No, definitely,
So,
definitely.
so I ain't saying Pac was a punk because he was like, some of them dudes you don't play no
Yeah,
games
some
with.
people you just don't fuck with.
I think he was on some, I'm afraid I got him make
Yeah.
this something happen, but
Yeah.
it was also
Made it a rap beef, like you
yeah,
said.
yeah.
And that's another reason why I say that he's
And Big was sitting here like,
Are we talking about?
Yeah.
on?
Big was just looked like the whole. Big just looked like the whole. After a while, he just even in his interview, he just looked like, yo, this shit hurt.
he's just drained.
I'm just
he
so
was
innocent.
fucking emotionally
Yo, I'm innocent
drained,
as a
like,
motherfucker,
Yo, he
like-
never said nothing to
Yeah.
this guy, and it's just
He
fucked
really
up.
never really participated in the beef.
and died
Nah.
for it.
Nah,
Really?
yeah.
But
Died for it.
you do know he did help Big a lot though.
He helped Big a lot.
As far as like when Big was coming up as a rapper.
That's why Big was confused. and
Yeah,
hurt.
because
Yeah.
Big. This even
But
you're
that's
making my
another
point
reason-
even
that's-
more.
That's why he was also feeling like you know you
Yeah,
have
like
information.
No,
That's the-
but what
you gotta-
information could he have gave him? You
He
know.
already knew.
You know.
What does he
You
want
know
him to
who
do? Go
shot
to
you.
war? Like
Yeah.
what
You
do you
know
want him
who
to go
shot
to
you.
war with
What I'm
one of the
supposed to
fucking
do?
most
That's the weird,
dangerous man in
that's
America?
the weird part. That's the weird part.
Like, what does he
yo,
want you? What are you gonna go to war? Yo, are you gonna go to war with Whack 100 and Game if one of your mans got shot by one of them? You gonna be ready to just like not one of your mans, but like somebody that you knew, but you don't really know him too much. But you guys is cordial. Like you gonna be like, yo, I'm ready to go all out war against these niggas.
Especially
Like
after you told him, yo, leave them boys alone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like what more can you do? It's
I
like
just
going
think
to
he
the
had a
party
lot-
with that one friend that always wants to start a fight and then wants you to fight for him.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Like,
he
get
had
the
a lot
fuck
of
out of
people.
here, bro. You was dancing for Shock G.
He had a lot
a
of people
month
in
ago.
his ear though.
Huh?
Pop.
Yeah, Pac had a lot of people in his ear.
Pac didn't have no
I think
direct
jail,
different-
that's when it got
from
real.
different
People in
directions.
jail
Because then there was
telling
people
this
that was
and
saying that Biggie, one of Biggie's homeboys did it. Then it was Jimmy Henchman.
Bro.
Then it was, and when you're 24, 23, you're naive.
Right, but
You
yo,
know what I mean, you're gonna.
I feel like y'all keep trying to convince us that he didn't know. He knew,
Nah.
yo. He knew 100%.
Against
Who
all
shot him?
odds, he said
He
Well,
knew.
yeah.
It's no.
I like.
set
I
me
like.
up,
it.
wet me up.
Yeah,
Let
that
the
was
guns
a.
bust.
I
It's
actually
unfortunate.
like Against All Odds better than I like Hit 'Em Up.
Because he tell the truth and against all odds.
Yeah.
It sucks, man.
He
And
was
it's like,
cutting and,
it's a situation where, you know, this guy goes and he stirs up all this shit and then he realizes the wolves that he's around and that he's still a pup. And when he tried to defuse it, he also realized at that moment, I have no power to defuse this. Now I just fucked everything up. It's like you hit the fucking red button and during the countdown, you like, yeah, nigga, because you think that pause button is going to work. And then
don't
when
work.
it said 3, 2, 1, he tried to hit the pause button and we all blew up. And
I
it's
think
all...
I like what he said too though. Like I'm not gonna sit here and just like discredit Pac's street cred or whatever you might got, but because I think it's what you said. I mean, a nigga probably he'll ride the fuck out with whatever, but he just put himself in a danger zone with people that was just on another level than him. So I won't say that. That's like me saying like okay, Mike, we all tough guys in here, but Mike might not be. You know what I mean? That don't mean he ain't gonna fight with us. He just ain't gonna take it to the level that we gonna take it to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's what it was with Pop more than he wasn't just built for it at all.
I call
You know what I mean? Like I don't think he was just like a sucker. Like he was just not.
Nah, I don't think
You know
he
what I mean?
was
I just
either.
think, like-
he was I think he was
It's like
he was ready to
Scarface and
squabble
Sosa.
and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But he wasn't on the level of them dudes that
Yeah,
he was
it's
around.
Scar-
And that's where the
It's Scarface and Sosa. Scarface was that dude till he started messing with Sosa.
Right.
And Sosa sent them people to his crib. You know what I mean? Like, it's levels, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think Pac was at a level, but he wasn't at they American gangster documentary level.
Pac
You know what I mean?
can do some wild shit, but then when you got motherfuckers that's running up straight up on you and just shooting you, like it's like, all right,
But that's why
I ain't ready for that.
That's why I
Yeah.
respect
I'll
50.
wild out, but I ain't ready for that.
That's
Like,
why I respect 50 though.
But see, that's
50
where
went
that's
to
where
war with one of them boys.
that's
when
where
he
that's he went to war. He went to war with Jimmy and them.
yeah,
Like,
pretty.
yo, well, first off,
50.
I spent 4 years of my life in Southside Jamaica, Queens, right? And that nigga is certified.
Yeah.
I heard a crazy story about 50, and not to veer off, but this is interesting. You remember Smurf? Remember when him and Smurf was
Him and
beefing?
Smurf.
So I used to go to a barbershop on God Brewer, right? And 134 on God Brewer. It's these buildings called Rochdale Buildings. And there's this barbershop that everybody goes to out there in Queens. And I remember one of the barbers was telling us a story, me and my man Killer, right? And I was getting my hair cut back when I had hair, rest in peace hair. And he was saying, yo, because the whole shit from G Unit is Gorilla Unit. And the Smurf had some shit called the Silverback Gorillas. So when 50 was coming up, he just took that Silverback Gorillas and made his own little thing called Gorilla Unit. And Smurf was the guy that started that whole Silverback Gorilla shit. So when they was beefing, he was talking all that shit. Smurf, I remember 50 was on the tour that he had with Eminem. It was some shit, the Asylum tour, some crazy shit. He came, some shit that Smurf did on like Smack or some shit like that. He was calling this nigga out crazy. This nigga found out he was in the barbershop, and a whole bunch of his peoples was in the barbershop. And yo, he had a tour bus come up, and it had the tour and everything, the graphics on it, and it was a tour bus full of like 40 people. Came out and beat the shit out of all of those guys. Hopped on the tour bus and just left. That's how crazy 50 is. 50 is certified, and that's what I mean about coming in this game, claiming that shit. Make sure your credentials are straight. That shit still applies. If you gonna fuck with some niggas that's certified, fine. But make sure you understand the caliber of people that you're dealing with. That's where Pac failed, obviously. But that's where Big maintained his composure. You see, and you said it, he was just composed like, yo, I know I'm around wolves. And I know I know where I'm at in this. But Pac was just like, yeah, nigga, barking at everybody like, yeah, we out.
No, he was reckless.
You know?
Big stayed away from all that shit.
Yeah, because he
Like,
knew
Big
how
just
to
had-
move in a room full of vultures.
Yeah, he just stayed with his friends. Like you gotta think the whole Junior Mafia, all the D-Rock, and all they just was his friends.
And they were real niggas too.
That's what I'm just saying. But
They was just pups at the time.
That's
too.
what I'm saying though. Big ain't never he wasn't never around a bunch of different people. It just was his people, and they moved how they moved, and that's it.
I think the overall consensus is that look, Pac just didn't understand the dynamic that he was involved in. He didn't know the temperature of the room.
We agree on that.
He didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? And that's where my issue was, and that's where I have beef with the whole thug life on his stomach and the AK-47. Fuck all that shit.
What does that mean, though?
I don't know.
I think there was
I don't know.
Tell him.
It's the same thing as 6ix9ine putting a fucking 6ix9ine on his head
What
and
do you
Joker
think?
face
No,
to me.
why you think he put thug?
I don't know, because he wasn't no thug.
Well, it was deep.
At the end, when you got millions of dollars and you can run around and pay your court fees, but let me see you do all that shit when you broke. Let me see you do all that shit when you at 8-ball status.
Thug life.
You know what I'm saying?
What it
Let me
mean?
see you do all that shit. Ain't nobody in the streets.
Let him hold on.
My bad. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
No, you
That
good.
ain't a boss, though.
Nah,
yeah.
Running around doing wild
Yeah,
shit.
you doing wild shit.
Yeah,
I
like
like
a bunch
that.
of them.
But nah, it was an acronym though.
Okay.
The acronym was the hate you give little infants fucks everybody. Meaning like what you feed somebody as a kid will eventually grow and blow up in your face.
That was an answer that came up with it.
Nah, but like, but nah,
sounded good.
nah, G shit, cause that's
Why he put the AK on top of it?
Huh?
Why he put the AK-47 on top of it?
I can't remember. But
We gotta find that out.
He definitely he explained it. I think it was like
I liked all his other tattoos though. They were good.
I think it had something
stuff.
to do with
What was that dude?
for people to you could have a whole bunch of people that could take over the world.
I agree.
Per se.
His music,
Like 50
and his
niggas can
antics
over
didn't
50
make
niggas
match
over.
up.
What did it say? 50 I think it was like 50 niggas over top of an AK.
Yeah.
Some shit like that?
Yeah, 50, yeah.
I think it has something to do with like gathering like a whole bunch of people and being able to like start a revolution or some shit like
Absolutely.
that. But it was just mainly like thug life was just oppression over society.
I got a question. I got a question.
I mean-
how do you like with all the negative? See, you say you just hate Pac. So with all the negativity that you just not put on him, but that we just spoke about Pac, how do you think he became a bigger artist than Big? With all this hatred, if a lot of people are thinking like you, like damn, like you started all this East Coast West Coast shit, you did this, you did that. He had a rape case and he got gun. He went through a bunch of shit that Big ain't go through.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you put a rape case on somebody, that's crazy.
I can tell you. I'm gonna let you finish though.
So I'm asking why do you think Tupac became the bigger artist?
All right, I'm gonna tell you. Tupac became the bigger artist because right now, okay. Let me give you an album that's popping. Okay, not Get Rich or Die Trying. Fabulous' first album.
Mm-hmm.
That was New York sound. right? New York to the core. SDE, Purple Haze, Come Home With Me. That's that New York sound. At that time, New York was popping. And then Atlanta came through, right? And they're taking the fuck over. Everything sounds like 808s, claps. And a guy like French Montana comes in from the Bronx. And in the beginning, he was doing songs with Jay Mills. He was doing those New York sounds. But as soon as he went with Atlanta, and he got with people from Atlanta and that sound, he was embraced a lot more. Even though he's from the Bronx, and he has this guy, French Montana, has 2 different stages of his career where he had 2 different sounds and 2 different attitudes. So when you got a guy like Pac, like I told you, he was fucking with Easy Mo B, and he had this sound, but he was still East Coast influence. And then a guy like Suge gets the hottest producer in the fucking world in Dr. Dre, and he just came off that Snoop Dogg album. That's one of the best albums to ever be created in music, period. And you put Tupac with that guy, and the West Coast is popping, and the whole world wants to sound like the West Coast. It was the perfect recipe for him to be more successful than Biggie. In my opinion.
I disagree.
He hopped on that West Coast wave.
But
He
I
hopped on that. I
said
said he hopped on that West Coast wave. And he just so happened to be a phenomenal artist.
You know what I think it was?
So it was the perfect recipe for him to be more popping than Biggie.
I think he would have been even bigger if he didn't go with Death Row.
I
don't think it's Death Row. I didn't say that. I'm saying it because Death Row had Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
And Daz Dillinger, who is underrated and doesn't get enough credit.
Bishop. That's what made
Daz is underrated.
Bishop. That's all. Bishop. The timing of Juice coming out.
Oh yeah, and he was an actor.
Later,
and he was an actor
Brenda's
too.
got a baby come out. I remember being in school and being like, "Yo, did you know the Bull Bishop is a rapper?
Yeah.
The Bull Bishop got a video out.
Yeah.
He was Bishop. He was Bishop the rest of his life.
But you can use that.
He started doing way.
He was an actor.
He was
an actor. So
Yeah, but-
you really can't pit it up together.
But that's
You
what
know
I'm
what I
saying.
mean?
Bishop was our first. We didn't know who Pop was before Bishop.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. He was Bishop.
Yeah.
That was the big, and you gotta think, it wasn't the Netflix time. It wasn't a million black movies time. It was a time when a black movie came out, every black person went to see
And
it.
it was a good black movie. It
So,
wasn't no
yeah.
shitty one either. It
Yeah,
wasn't no whack one.
So when Juice came out, Juice was huge.
Yeah, so that's the advantage that he has over
He was
Big.
the main character, and Brenda's Got a Baby came out. The video started coming out like a week after Juice.
Yeah.
He started out so big, he was there already. He was already a superstar before Big even came out. He was a superstar.
Right.
And then you got to remember, it ain't like he was in one movie. He continued to be in movies.
Right.
I think that's what made him bigger.
That's another
like,
thing. He had more
overall.
years. He had a
Way
couple.
more
He had
years
a
in
couple years before Biggie
Way more
even came in the
albums,
game.
yeah.
And then you see Biggie
like Bo Jackson.
Biggie came in and just like really fast. So if you really want to think about it, yeah, he had more material. He had more time in the game. Biggie was in the streets when this nigga was dancing for Shock G. Like, you know what I'm saying? Biggie was in the streets hustling, and Tupac was on stage dancing in the background for Shock G.
He was on the same song.
He was on a whole bunch of shit.
You know what I mean?
He already had the game experience. So you want to talk about why he was more popular, because he had more time in. And he is I'm not going to deny he wasn't talented now. I'll be playing myself. I just hate that nigga, like, because I feel like I would rather him be here too. I don't wish death on him.
What about as far as skills? Like
skills, he's phenomenal.
Pac is that.
I mean, but why from a skillful level?
Yeah.
What did he do better than Pac?
What did Biggie do better than Pac?
Yeah,
I don't think it's a case of what did he do better than Pac. You understand what I'm saying? I just
I'm talking about skills though. Like I want
skills?
Yeah.
Like bar for bar? Oh,
Just
Biggie's getting him the fuck out of here in a cypher, for sure. But Pac would say that. But if you gave Pac a day to make a phenomenal record and you gave Biggie a day to make a phenomenal record, here's the funny part. I'm not gonna say one's gonna make a better one than the other. They're both gonna make phenomenal records because they have their own style. I just hate when I hear this overall. I hear like throughout my life in these conversations, I hear people trying to say this. You know, Biggie was a good rapper, but you know, Pac was a revolutionary, and you know, he made great songs. And I'm like, well, hold on. Biggie was speaking to me too, and he was speaking shit about life too. And Juicy, if you listen to that record, that beat may sound very commercial, but listen to what he's saying. He's talking about growing up. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about all the things that you went through. You listen to Suicidal Thoughts, that shit that a lot of niggas in this world will think about sometimes. They sit back, you probably off the Henny, you probably in a down part of your life, and you thinking about all the shit that you going through, and this nigga put that shit on record.
I
You
think
know
it's
what I'm
more
saying?
of a case of who was a better human being.
Who was a better human being?
Like when they say like,
In what aspect? Because
as far as like,
I think they were both
intelligent-
fucked up individuals.
nah, but I mean,
That's
I'm
me.
talking about as far as what they stood for. Yeah, Pac with like during like
Oh, I think they both stood for great things.
I think musically, Pac just had more to offer.
he had more.
He had more of a body of work. I really can't tell you where Biggie was gonna go with
That
this
Brenda's
shit.
got a baby, man. That shit was just.
It's
another-
great. Dear Mama was a great
Dear
song.
Mama,
I played it
like-
over and over. I love
Shit
it.
like that, like his shit was more heartfelt.
Yeah,
than
Biggie,
shit.
Biggie
shit
was
touched
just
you.
more. As
Biggie
far
was
as
a spitter,
as
like,
far as rhyming,
Yeah.
rhyming aspect, yeah,
Better
but-
lyricist.
Yeah, but
That's why I go back to Ready to Die.
conviction, aggression.
That's why I go back to Ready to Die, because
Versatility.
Ready to Die shows all he showed off all of his abilities. And honestly, I feel like he touched on everything
So
in
did
hip hop.
Pac though.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I just hate Pac because of the whole beef.
Because of the beef shit.
And how he
So you're not knocking
and-
his music.
No, this is my issue with Pac in
It's
general.
hard for you to line the music and the person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When he's
Because
doing all of that nut stuff.
he's just inconsistent.
Makes you not
He's-
want to listen to his
When
shit.
you,
where I
when
was
you
at
look at
that
Pac, right? If you look at Pac in these general categories, you look at his music, it's phenomenal work. It sounds like some guy that should be wearing glasses, a fucking red bow tie, and a suit. You know what I'm saying? And then you see this weirdo, and he's got on fucking gang flags. He's got Thug Life on his chest. And let's talk about general perception. Let's not talk about what we already know and the meanings behind it. Then you look at this guy's persona, right? And then you look at the people he's hanging with, and then you look at his life, how he grew up. This nigga's all over the place.
Yeah, but
sounds
that's
like a
the key.
wild young
He was
kid.
just complicated.
But that was the key.
I know.
You look at her. He grew up with a mom who was a crackhead,
Yeah.
but a Black Panther.
His life is
His
all
life was a big.
His life is all over the
contradiction.
place.
So for
He
when
grew up like that.
That's why I
Yeah.
said I later on came to appreciate
Yeah.
that nut stuff was really part of how he grew up. Like
I think America has something to do with that.
yeah, and I mean I think a lot of it was he was that one person, and that's why I think we were lucky to have Pop.
Yeah.
He was
I
that
agree.
one person who grew up in that movement. He got a little piece of everything.
Yeah.
He got what Baltimore, what it was to be in Baltimore.
seen the world at a young age,
crackhead
man. Was
era.
raised in-
What it was to be in New York, and
Right.
what it was for your mom to be on a famous case, and she being pregnant
Right.
with you locked up.
Right.
You know what I mean? He grew up with dudes who was crackheads, but was Panthers 10
Yeah.
years before.
Right.
So it was like that contradiction. And the thing is, I know dudes around here who had that same thing,
Right.
who their parents raised them with certain things, but the life and that struggle, because the thing is, being that way at that time, society was going to throw stuff at you.
Right.
So them being revolutionaries, society ended up throwing it at all them revolutionaries that in the 80s and the 70s, they became crackheads.
Right.
So you got a generation of kids who was raised with certain morality, but when they got to 12, their parents was fiends and they was on the street.
Right.
So they knew what was right, but at the same time, they had to do
They going
this.
through that. Yeah.
And I think when I got to look at Pac, and I'm like, yo, he's saying some revolutionary stuff that's real, but through the lens of a dude who grew up a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you had the Bible through a thug mentality.
Right,
Like,
right,
What
right.
if Jesus was a thug saying the same stuff in principle,
Right.
but through a thug lens?
Yeah.
And that's what I think Pac was like.
No, that make a lot of sense.
He say stuff that I can hear it. Like, for instance, Soldier Story. He tells the story about his going and breaking his brother out of jail. His brother was a drug dealer. But if you look, I forgot there was an actual revolutionary who that's what happened. He grew up knowing this story. You know what I mean? Where what was his name? They called him the Panther, something Jackson. But what happened was he got locked up. His brother tried to get him out. They shot his brother in the head and killed him. But this was a story of a Black Panther guy. But he took that story and took it from a thug perspective if it happened to my brother. So it was like that mix, that contradiction, that stupidness, that craziness, it was the gift and the curse, because that nut dude that we get out of it, we couldn't have got all of them beautiful perspectives.
Right. No,
You know what I mean? Because
yo,
when
that's
I
a
hear
hell
him
of a
say
point.
stuff, some of the stuff he say is like, yo, when you really think about it, like Machiavelli, listen to Blasphemy. Certain stuff he's saying that, like what does he say is God just another cop waiting to beat my ass if I don't go pop. You know what I mean? Stuff like that is like, bro, if you really think about what he's saying.
And he was vocal about like not
deep.
always.
Big to me was a great rapper and he had a lot to say, but there was certain stuff that Pop had in him that was put in him when he was a little kid that came out. It might have came out messed up. It's the concrete in the roads thing they say.
I think I agree.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I agree.
And his mom had something to do with that too. She instilled that in him. Don't be silent.
Yeah.
Say what's on your mind. Say how you feel. Like education, all of that.
I agree with what you're saying, but I also feel, and this is where Big's at a unfortunate disadvantage because we never gave him enough time. He only had 2 albums.
Right.
And he catapulted like so far, so high, so fast. Who knows where he would have ended up going with his message, with his music. You're right. And you know, Pac was already like 2 albums in before Big even dropped his first one.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like before when you stepped out the room real quick, we were saying like, you said why did Pac get so big? You mentioned the whole acting and everything like that.
He did a lot more.
On top of that West Coast wave that he rode, I'm gonna say that because that was important. That was the most popular wave, but also he had more material before Big came out. He had a chance to put albums out before and material, just in general, and be visible and know his way through the game and figure out who he's gonna be in the climate that he was in as far as the business goes and with his celebrity. I don't know where he eventually lost his way. And you know, like I said, man, you know, I don't know where Big would have went with this shit. And it's unfortunate because I really would do anything to hear this guy like give me another album. You know what I'm saying? For real. And Pop.
I hate to say it, but I really think Big would eventually fell off.
You think he would have?
I think he would eventually fell off.
I think he would have been in the same
career-wise. That was the best thing. Like that sounds crazy because I don't want to. But like he didn't have a chance to fuck up.
Yeah.
Rappers do something stupid at some point and people start looking at them different. Imagine if 50 Cent died right after his second album.
Right.
He'd be one of the greatest. Then he started just doing nut stuff. You know what I mean? And I think it might have been great. It might have been for music purposes. It was like the story was over where it was supposed to be.
I don't think so.
I think he would have been in the same position that Jay's in now.
Because half of that second album was bloop, skip. He had a lot of skip on that second album, the double album.
Nah, I don't think so.
Bloop. Oh yeah, skip that, bro.
Life After Death isn't my favorite album, but it's not. I mean, there's some skip songs.
You cut half of that out. Cut that album in half. It's a great album. I don't even know why y'all gave me this.
To be fair though, Tupac got a lot of shit that you can skip through.
Yeah.
I think
he has a lot more material.
I just want to say
it's hard. It's hard to do that because he got so much more material. But I understand where you're coming from, though. I could totally respect why you say that.
There's whole albums of Pac that I ain't messing with.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But so that I'll be just trying to play devil's advocate a little bit.
No, I get it.
Is it fair to even compare them then musically?
No, absolutely. They're 2 different people.
Because they always compared to each other.
They got 2 different fan bases.
Yeah, they do, man. It's hard.
You compare. It's fair to compare them as far as not musically. You can't because Pac is just like he got way more shit out.
Yeah,
more hits. You say more hits.
I would say more songs,
more sales. It is not more hits.
I don't think the hits. I don't think the hits came until he started right before the Machiavelli thing. I Get Around, all that shit. I Get Around came after.
How many hits did Big have?
I think he had more hits when he got with Death Row.
His songs.
He only did really one.
No, he got more.
Death Row. He did
that. Death Row and Brenda Shot Baby.
All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli was with Death Row. Nothing else was with Death Row.
Yeah.
Until the end of time. That was a post album though.
Those his 2 best albums.
Whoa.
One of the
first one?
All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli. All right, but All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli are phenomenal albums.
So is Me Against the World.
Me Against the World. Okay, I get it.
Number 1, why he was locked up.
You think that's why it was such a big deal that he went to Death Row?
Yeah,
because he was already Tupac.
That's why I was saying. That's why I said before. Yo, Snoop said in the interview. It's a recent interview. He said, man. He said, y'all. He said, I don't know what. But people be talking about Tupac and they automatically push him to Death Row. He said, I like Tupac. Tupac to me fell off when he went to Death Row. That's what Snoop said. He said Tupac was a better artist before he came to Death Row.
He didn't really have that much with the Row.
I mean, that's a guy rapping Woody.
Is my
you know what I mean? It's like,
I
was big for him to say that.
Yo, you know what's funny? It's funny you say that. I don't know how much y'all be on the interview. Yeah, you see that shit? Like, Snoop brought this up twice when Pac was with him and they approached Nas in Queens.
Oh, yeah, I seen that.
And Snoop was like, my nigga, He got some real. This is what I'm saying.
But
He was over there,
but he's still strong though.
No, listen.
That's what I'm saying. You got
listen to.
Nah, be fair. You got it because I know. Nah, you may.
I already know where you're gonna go.
No, you got because you got to stay in the middle. I got go. Because at the beginning you did say what you say at the beginning.
What
about Pac and Big? What you say? What's the first thing you said?
I hate Pac.
I hate Pac. So I'm trying to keep you in the middle because I know what you're about to. You got a point. Tupac can't see all these motherfuckers around him. I could have jumped on your motherfucking ass.
But here's the look.
He thinks. No, hold on. Let me finish. He thinks Nas is being. Nas true cool. Like Pac, I don't want to Pac. You know what? That he might be a gangster too. Just because he talking to you soft spoken, that don't mean he can't snap his finger and then.
Nas is a real.
You know what I mean? And Snoop peeped that because Snoop probably come from a different thing than Pac.
Okay, there you go.
But at the same time, you can't take away the fact that Pac might have seen that and said, "Fuck that." I'm still approaching this nigga right now because I might not see him again. I gotta run up on this nigga right now and say what I gotta say. You know what I mean? So it could be both sides. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what happened. Yeah. But it could have been Pac could have seen all these niggas and said, yo, you know what? This is my chance. I gotta say something right now. I'm gonna make a point. I'm gonna make a point in front of Snoop, who he probably was trying to show off that he was gangster too. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make a point right now.
I believe he was always on go.
I think he
That's
was.
what I'm saying. He didn't until them last dudes. Then he was like, oh,
but at the same time,
you know I'm coming with some shit.
Nah, but look, so I gotta say this before you go.
Get your shit up.
My thing is this. This is what he said earlier though. It is what he said earlier though. It's levels, different levels. He felt comfortable running up on Nas and saying this and that.
Why though?
Didn't really care because of who Nas was. But is he gonna feel comfortable running up on Jimmy Henchman? No. That's what I'm saying. There's levels. He's comfortable running up on Nas. But yo, people do that shit today. And fuck back then. People do that shit today. Yeah, you picking and choosing.
Smart people do.
Yeah. You picking and choosing who you the fuck you running down on.
Right.
At the end of the day. You know what I mean? So, but the thing is though, if Nas snaps his finger, like Snoop said, he said Pac ain't peeped nothing. Yeah. He said Pac went over there. He felt like he wanted to dress that man down. He didn't see that Nas had all these niggas around him.
Right.
So.
All right, so I agree with you, but and there's certain things that you're saying that I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you my perception.
All right.
So it's just like I said earlier. I said a lot of things obviously about Pac. I know everybody listening to this shit that's Pac fans probably wants to fucking kill me. I don't care, but I'm gonna tell you like this. There's reasons why I disagree with you. So. Number one, I said it earlier, I said it really fast and it kind of got shadowed over, but I said, yo, Pac's like that guy that you go to the club with, your boy that always wants to start a fight and then he's waiting on you to do it because he knows you're the nigga that's going to throw them hands first. It's the same thing he did with Snoop.
What?
Because Snoop's a gangster and Snoop, this is the paradigm. Snoop is a guy, like I said, you got to have your credits. You got to know. Snoop grew up having to be aware of shit like this, looking at it from a certain aspect because this is what he knows.
Right.
Pac went in there with a nigga like Snoop, knowing, and this is where he is smart, but he's also stupid because he could have got both of them killed. If somebody who don't give a fuck about what Nas said, and it's like, yo, you're not gonna disrespect Queensbridge,
right?
Because when it becomes to Nas represents Queensbridge. But if Nas is like, nah, don't do nothing, and this nigga's getting totally out of character, somebody would have been like, yo, fuck you, and there's nothing Nas could do. Because he's doing it for the place where they from. You understand? You coming over here and you doing that shit in my area, somebody's not gonna give a fuck. Somebody's gonna meet that same energy and probably more. And that's what Snoop was trying to say. Like, yo, we got spared. You didn't really prove nothing. You only proved that we got spared by this nigga. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what the exact circumstances was where they were in like a public setting, and that's probably, I think that was what it kind of was.
No, so they was in the Jets.
No, but there was like something going on. There was like something. There was something going on.
Hey, man,
they were at an event.
It was in House of Blues.
Y'all was in Manhattan. Ain't none of that stuff
I thought they said it was in Manhattan.
Ain't none of that count. Y'all was all faking. Y'all was in Manhattan.
Yeah, but
y'all knew nothing.
I'm just saying, like, Snoop's looking at it. Snoop's looking at it like, yo.
All of them, bro.
Snoop's looking at it like, yo, this shit could have went totally wrong. And Pac is looking at it like, yeah, but see, this is what I'm saying about him, dog. Like, at the end of the day, you got a guy like Snoop that could recognize this, and you got a guy like Pac that doesn't recognize it. And he might have got away with one that day. Obviously, he didn't get away with one when he went to the studio. But like I said, he's that guy that you go to the club with that he don't give a fuck about the repercussions because he knows he's got somebody behind him. He played that role well because that was him.
Bishop.
See, but I see, and that's where
I think Pac authentic.
That's coward shit, man.
Nah,
I think he authentic.
I
think he authentic, but some dudes are just nutcase.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't. As much
authentic how?
I don't think he was
Authentic to what
fake.
degree?
I just think he was just a nut.
But you can't. But to ask that is to also ask that fake to what degree? You said because you just said like, oh, then he is that guy that's gonna go there and start the problem. he's a tough guy. If he gonna fight every time we go out, this nigga can fight. He's a fighter. He's a tough guy. He's ready to wild out. Now, is he stupid as hell? Yeah, he's stupid. Because he's gonna get all of us killed. But he got the heart to go in there and do that. And that's why it goes back to when he said that earlier.
The main thing was he had the biggest heart.
Yeah, but he had this stupid. But
and he was reckless. Nah, he was reckless.
I mean, he was reckless. Yeah. But it also goes back to what he killed that shit earlier when he said it's just levels. I keep going back to that.
Yeah, it is levels.
But it's like, yo, like, all right, you stupid as hell. You're gonna go fight at this club. You're gonna go fight it here. But when we went to this place, you ain't do none of that. You know what I mean? I think he was that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knew who to do shit with and who not to do something with.
And my thing is, overall, he didn't use that same. He didn't use that same philosophy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He didn't know when to use that philosophy. Like in that particular situation, he practiced it very well. He was very calculated. He knew the circumstances, he knew the setting, he knew the person, he knew how to execute with his fuckery.
And
what I call it.
He was
But overall, in the grand scheme of things, when that life-changing moment happened down to their deaths, he didn't use that same philosophy. He miscalculated the fuck out of that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, fam?
Because even the reason
he jumped off the cliff.
Even the reason he died.
Yeah.
Like, that showed it. You got everybody from a hood. The new dude come to chill with everybody, and there's the dude we got beef with, and you the first one to run over there?
Right.
That was Pop personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you ain't, and even the dudes from the neighborhood, like, bruh, fall back. Like, this ain't even really your beef. Yeah. But you want to be that dude. Because I always say, they be like, Pop got assassinated. Pop died off some nigga shit. Everyday nigga shit.
That's what I'll be
telling you.
You know what
I mean?
It's
regular shit.
They think it's all these conspiracy.
Yeah,
No, man.
He died for
regular
being
nigga shit.
Like,
jump somebody.
But that's why.
Absolutely. It was set tripping shit.
No, it's crazy.
It was set tripping shit.
But it's crazy that you use that point. I mean, that was a perfect point. Like you said, he's the guy at the club that runs up on. That's exactly what the fuck he did.
Yeah, I hate those guys.
He did. Yeah,
we all.
But he was really about it though.
Yeah.
He was really the dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's
and he was loyal.
You said he was stupid. That's
and he
what
was loyal to the.
Yeah, but
he ran up on that dude and got killed for it.
But was he a gangster or was he a martyr?
I wouldn't say gangster.
Was he a thug or was he a martyr?
I believe.
You know what I'm saying? Was he a martyr?
Nah, he wasn't a martyr.
Okay, so a martyr runs into a whole group of people knowing that it can get lit, whether they about to blow themselves up or whether they about to war it out with them, knowing that they're gonna get lit up.
He wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
That's a martyr.
He was moving.
That's a martyr.
Nah, I think a martyr goes into
and the reason why
I could die.
He was human.
He's not thinking like that.
He was human.
He thinking he's invincible. He thinking invincible right now. And I got all these niggas with me.
All these dudes.
I know I'm about to go wild out, and all my niggas is gonna wild out with me.
Still don't give me.
He ain't thinking to die though.
I can't really give that much respect though.
Why? Like you get nothing. I mean, is it stupid? It's stupid.
Like I said, it's level. So
how was he not? How was he not a thug?
He was, and the level that he was trying to make us think he was. That's my. I guess that's my.
I don't think it was a level thing. It was me and my boys. We out. Yeah. Oh, we got.
But yo, D, you come on, bro. You even can attest that. And I hate to harp on the past, but fuck it, it's important because their legacies ended in the past, and our past. So it's like for like a 10-year stretch, he was a super gangster when he died. He was known as like a thug
I think
life.
a lot of young people like to put that super gangster thing on Tupac.
I'm just saying it existed, and then eventually we broke it down and we said, "Yo,"
they be like, "Oh, what would Pac do if he came back?"
Right?
I get beat. Fuck
that's what I'm saying.
Like no beat nobody.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Talked a lot of stuff, but Pac was that dude.
Let me ask you a question.
Rapping as a
musically, do you think he would still be super popular, or you think he would have fell off?
Nah. I mean, I think he should have by now.
Musically, I think as a person, as a persona, as a personality, as a revolutionary outside of music, which is what he looked like he was getting ready to do anyway with Above the Rim.
So long ago.
Not Above the Rim, excuse me. Was it Above the Rim? Yeah, he was in Above the Rim.
Yeah, he might have stopped rapping and just been like a straight.
I think he would have been like the biggest.
So what makes you think that Big couldn't have been like that in some way?
No, we never said he
maybe like an exec.
We just ain't have.
Because a lot of those guys really looked like the East Coast. A lot of these people, man, they really loved him and they wanted to be under his umbrella.
I ain't gonna lie.
And I think he would have birthed I think he would have changed the shape and dynamic of New York City hip hop and how our camaraderie is.
I just
you know what I'm saying?
I know he wanted Machine Gun Funk.
Not for New York though.
I know he wanted Machine Gun Funk to be his first single and argue with Diddy about it. You not a good record executive. Period.
I love Machine Gun.
I love it.
At the time.
But if you think of No, that's a dope song. What the fuck? I'm just saying.
because Chief Rocka.
That was a hitter.
I mean,
Don't get
Chief
me wrong.
Rocka was a smash.
Chief Rocka sample.
It wasn't going to make the same Biggie Smalls career as Biggie is now.
I mean, but
he
you
gonna
arguing
be Biggie.
the times, though.
No, because
You're
I
talking
think
about the aesthetics of the time.
Yeah, your rollout and that first thing that people see have a lot to do with what people continue to think of you as. That's why I say Bishop is what made Pop. Our first image of Tupac was Bishop.
He turned into Bishop.
We watched him for an hour and a half as some crazy dude who was wild and doing crazy stuff.
I think Tupac
so it was
fell
easy
off.
for the rest of our lives to believe.
I don't think so.
I
that
think
Tupac was going to
Listen, I
too
think
much-
musically
too much.
Tupac would have eventually fell off.
Everybody should have though, because like that was a long time ago.
What?
Like 1995 and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Like you really kind of should have fell off. Yeah, like that's like, you know what I mean? Like it ain't even a fall off at that point. It's
Well,
like you should kind
but
of
I
fade
think
off.
Did Jay fall off? Did Jay fall
can
off
I just
from
say?
what he was?
I'm gonna touch on that because I knew you were gonna say that. Somebody was gonna say that. I just want to say something. I think he would have also been irrelevant with hip hop fans as well nowadays, and I'm gonna tell you why. But yeah, because of that movie that he did, he was starting to transition into playing cop roles. And when you're talking about the 90s and the early 2000s, when you start taking it to that way, I'm not saying he's gonna lose his credibility. What I'm saying is niggas ain't really relating to that in the late 90s, early 2000s. You playing a cop in a movie.
I think by then,
You know what I'm saying? Who was in that movie? Bruce Willis? Or was
I know
it
you're talking about
Mickey
the one
Rourke?
with
Mickey
Mickey
Rourke.
Nah, Mickey Rourke was in Bullet with Pop. You talking about,
Okay.
you talking about Jim Belushi.
Yeah, well, I know he was
The
playing
white
a cop.
cop.
I know he started to play cops, and that's okay because I thought he was a great actor. He's a great actor. I loved his movies.
Yeah.
I like this guy, man. As an artist, I
No, you
really
don't.
did. No. As an artist, I liked him. I appreciated it, and I got it. I just said he was a walking contradiction. It's
We
my
all
issue.
contradiction though.
Yeah, I think we all.
As a human, I think that's why we can relate to him even more.
But I just-
we're all complicated.
I hate to bring it back. I just feel like his contradictions got people killed.
in
That's,
night-
that's it. You know, and that's why I
your
fucking hate
argument.
that guy.
That's your argument.
true.
That's why I fucking
That's
hate
real.
him.
That's real.
That's
though.
why I fucking hate him. Because you got to be more
And
responsible.
people want to put him like a saint now.
Yeah, man, fuck that. No, you
Oh,
got my
nah,
nigga
nah.
killed.
I don't-
You
A lot
got
of
my
people-
nigga killed. I don't like you.
And
You
that's
was
what-
out here wilding. I want to
Can I-
shoot you,
can I
nigga.
ask you something?
And
You
that's
know
what
what I'm
Flex.
saying?
And that's what Flex was basically saying.
And I
Yeah.
felt flex on it.
That's why I hate him. That's where the hate
I wasn't
comes
mad at that Flex interview.
in the peak of that beef,
Rant.
though.
Yeah,
I'm asking all y'all, like, in the peak of that beef, and you know, like, Pop just got killed a year ago, and it's still like a lot of tension, and you're on your second album, and you're going to promote that. Do you think it was smart to go to California?
Hell fucking no. Everybody said it. You ever seen that interview with Gene Dill?
Yeah, that's why he said
On
he was blaming
MTV?
Puff for that shit.
So
Yeah.
how did Pop get Biggie killed?
Pac didn't get Biggie
No.
killed.
Oh,
The energy. It was the energy.
Pac got
the
Biggie
whole
killed
vibe.
because he put him in a situation
Put the
that he didn't
energy
have
out
nothing to do with
there
it.
for the West Coast
Yeah.
to not
That's
like
my
it.
argument, bro. That's
'Cause
my
I don't-
argument.
'cause
Even
I don't think
after
that, I
death.
don't think that was smart to
No.
go
Well,
that was more Puff though.
But
That was
part
tough.
of it
I
is,
was
They
just
said
getting ready to
Biggie
say
didn't
that.
wanna go out there.
Biggie
but
ain't
the
wanna go out
reality
there.
of it is, some
I heard Pop
stuff,
didn't want to go to Vegas.
as a rapper, sometimes you gotta go. Like,
He didn't look like he didn't want to go to
You
Vegas
gotta-
when he was
you
whooping
gotta
that guy's
show.
ass in the hallway.
You got a
Like
show
that,
set
bro.
up for
Yeah.
50 stacks. I gotta go to LA.
But nah, they was supposed to. He was
They were
supposed to
supposed to
do
shoot the video.
that. Yeah, but he was supposed to. I think Gene Dill was saying something. They were supposed to go to London. And he said, he said a crazy price. Not to get off topic, but he said Big was supposed to go to London and do a show for $2,500. I'm thinking like, damn, we need to book Big. $2,500. That's what it was back then. You know that was. You know,
Yeah, he might.
whatever.
Hopefully, he meant 25,000.
Yeah, he said
Dang.
he
God
said 25.
damn.
He said
That's the plane
25.
ticket, nigga.
I was like, yo, what the fuck? But,
Yo.
but yeah, I mean, that might be what Big was getting in his.
It's possible.
I mean, I don't know. Time's different, but yeah, I think that was all. I think that was more Puff than it was anything
Yeah.
because everybody around that situation, Gene Dill was like, yo, he was trying to warn everybody, but he said Big wanted to get out of there. He said Puff was like begging Big to go to the joint that night and everything. Big ain't really wanted. He wanted to go out there and get in the studio and go back to the hotel.
He didn't want that.
I mean,
Nah,
he
Big-
wanted.
no,
Big
he
ain't
wa-
want to. Big. He said Big ain't really want to party.
Yeah.
He didn't really want to be out.
But he
and about
said that when
and
he
shit.
told Big at the parking lot outside the mansion, they was
Yeah.
getting ready to go. Big was like, "Yo, I'm good."
Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, Big." I felt bad when I was watching this dude. Like he was pouring his heart out, man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Cause
yeah,
if
yeah.
it, you know, and when I'm looking at this guy, if his story's facts, it's like, damn, like this dude's kind of like that guy that's like, there's a fucking meteor coming, and y'all niggas is over here like hunky dory, and it's like, yo, there's a storm coming, there's a storm coming. Everybody's like, chill, my nigga, it's gonna pass. And then and everything he thought and felt happened. And
Yo, that
it's
shit,
sad.
shit like that kills people, man. Like he'd die from that shit. Like knowing that you could have stopped that shit, that's eating him. You watch Gene's interviews, that shit is eating him, man. Like because you sit back and just think like, yo, something. What could I have done? Even though he went out of his way, not out of his way. That was his job.
He was the one who seen the ball. He said he walked past it too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so he was like, yo, what could I have? I think that's what's eating him. What could I have done to stop? He pulled Big out the car and everything. Yeah. Like you gotta think he was the only big nigga that was bigger than Big at that time that could even pull Big out the car. So it was all on him. So he just was like, damn, like I seen the dude walk by me. You know what I mean? I was warning these dudes. They wasn't listening, but I was still, what could I have done? I mean, he told I think he said Puff told him that if he intervenes and everything, he won't work for Bad Boy again. Yeah. So at that moment, he was like, yo, damn, now I gotta work with my family. Yeah. Like I'm getting paid very well. You know what I mean? If I don't listen to this guy, my family is just like,
yo, it's funny because Puff
probably never have a job like that again.
Puff was walking around uncomfortable because he knew he had them Crips with him. Yeah. But obviously, you don't know them LA politics. Sometimes those colors cross. Yeah.
But he said that. But at the same time, they said them niggas left. Yeah. He said they all came to the club. They was like 25 deep. He said like 13 of them left.
It was bad timing.
Yeah, he said like 13 of them left that night.
They headed to Jermaine Dupri's party or some fucking party. I can't remember vaguely, but yeah, it's a fucked up situation.
He said like 13 of them left. They went with some bitches, like regular party shit. It's like 13 of the people that came with them, they left. It was almost at the end of the night. They left
wanted to keep partying.
And Puff wanted to keep partying. Big sitting up there the whole time. Remember his hip?
Yep, he said that nigga had a chair in the middle of the floor, the dance floor. Yep. And it was just a bunch of people around him. And he kept saying, yo, I just get him. He had both his guns in his hand. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, I think the deaths, like the actual deaths, have everything to do with Puffy being a dumb nigga and playing in politics with LA. And Suge. I mean, Suge is a gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a certified gangster. So you playing politics, you in his world now, businessman.
He wanted to go out there.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
he wanted to go out there and then come back home like, yeah, nigga, you see Pac got killed and we went right out there in Cali, nigga.
We pulled up.
You know what I mean? We pulled up. He wanted to be that guy.
And I believe it. Because look at how he acts now.
I mean, you got the song going back to
It's like, why you come on, man? Like, you
I hated that song.
I hated it too.
I'm like, what? This ain't big to me.
What would they say, trolling?
Yeah, he was trolling. That song was trolling like a motherfucker.
Yeah. Even I Shot You was kind of trolling. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong.
Who Shot You? Yeah.
Who Shot You? That was part of the thing that I kind of didn't like with Big, though.
Yeah, that was.
It was like, either go or don't.
Yeah. Like, you trying to dip and dab,
you in it or you not.
And then say that wasn't about him. It been recorded. Like I hate when people do that.
That's probably what pissed Pac off too.
Yeah, like I hate when people do that. Like if you're not trying to get involved with this shit, stop talking about. Oh, this been recorded. Like this wasn't been recorded. You dropped that shit on purpose at this right time when he got shot. I mean that shit. Like, come on, don't act like you been recorded.
What you think?
I don't believe it. I don't think so. I don't think.
But why even put that?
You don't think he did that for Pac?
No, absolutely.
I think
the release of it was thought about. Though.
Yeah, of course.
It's possible. I can't. That's all speculation.
He should have stopped that though.
I'm not mad at you feeling that way. Is what I was saying.
I'm not dropping that. I'm not dropping that. If you know that just happened and you know you ain't have nothing to do with that, and whoever label is telling you to drop that song, I'm not.
Why put that energy in the air?
I'm not dropping that.
Use your discretion.
Yeah.
Because I had a situation recently where it was going to be a video shot for a song, but the song made it sound like something that happened afterwards.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, we gotta
scratch that.
We gotta scratch that.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta play. Yeah, sometimes you gotta play the politics. I think
so. That's where Big could have fucked up right there too.
I can't be mad at you for that.
I mean, like that. I mean, fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
So
I think part of him felt like though.
But Pac still knew the truth though.
He was fighting with his. I think at a point Big felt like he was trying to fight with his hands behind his back. And it's like, this dude keeps slapping me, and I'm trying to be the good guy, and he keeps slapping me, and so eventually I'm going to say a little something. So I think part of it was, forget how I look. I'm a man. You know what I mean? But
I think it's motherfuckers around him, too, in his area. Because I don't think Big genuinely didn't want nothing to do with that shit.
Yeah. No, that was a waste of time. He was trying to get money. He was trying to get to the bag. But I think Big was trying to build an empire.
I think everybody around him was like, yo, you got to put this, you got to say something. You got to say something. You got to say something. And they own him about that shit. And then that's when it happened. I think he recorded that shit after that. I don't think that shit was recorded before for nobody else. I think he recorded that shit for Pac right after that.
I don't know.
I think so.
That's I can't say
everything is speculating though, but you can't take it away. You can't do that.
It. It's spicy though.
I'm about to say you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that because you.
That's a spicy theory. I'm not gonna lie.
It's all speculation. I just think come on, I'm not doing that. I don't want no problem.
The thing is, there was a lot of other dudes who was really chiming in. Because I ain't gonna lie, the ones I respected out the whole situation was Mobb Deep, because they was like, nah.
Yeah,
They didn't
young
give a
boy.
fuck.
Prodigy was like, I wanted to kill Pop.
You talking about you got raped on the island and all. I was just listening to Drop a Gem on them before we came in. And I'm like, them young boys wasn't playing.
Yeah.
And even, it's funny because at first when I heard Machiavelli and they like, Nas the ringleader, I'm like, what Nas say? I had to go back and I can't help but to think the first couple words of the message was talking about Pop. Fake nug, what'd you say? Fake thug, no love.
Yeah.
And then it made me think, like, how many times was this dude throwing shots?
Yo, Nas secretly had beef with everybody.
Yeah, he was throwing a lot of shots.
Yeah.
And
Nas was
changes. What did he say? There's a lot of stuff on that album where it was like, yeah, I think he was coming at Pop.
Yeah, he was coming at Big too at some points too. Him and Big was having words too, because Big break through some. That's the whole your arms is too short.
I love Bomb First, man. That's my shit.
Bomb First.
Hell yeah. This how Machiavelli started off, man. Like,
I was just, that's why I was out there had on my headphones. I was listening to all of that stuff. Had to get prepared.
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie, fam. I'm a Pac stan fan. Like,
nah, listen, I respect it. I have a lot of friends.
I like that hat too.
Thank you. I love the record label. And you know, I think we could probably start wrapping it up soon, but I want to say a few things though, because the Death Row Records, I loved everything about it. But what Pac did. I love everybody around it. Dr. Dre, Snoop, Daz, Corrupt. Oh, I love Corrupt. Underrated.
Underappreciated.
Pac was the last dude to the party for Death Row.
Absolutely, man.
Death Row,
I think he completed it.
I look at the last part of Pac with Death Row, but when I think of Death Row, I don't think Tupac.
Nah, I mean, I think Snoop. I think Dre.
I think anybody who was on that Chronic, that's Death Row to me.
Yeah.
But Machiavelli, don't get me wrong, like
Fire.
I probably sound like the most confusing dude in the world. You don't know what side I'm on, but
You in the middle.
Being my age, I used to rap back then. So there was that part of me that had that little hater in you about any rapper. So you like, man, F that dude, I'll punch him in his face. I never really looked at neither one of them and held them beyond just being a rapper. You know what I mean?
Right,
so, because I'm like, I remember looking at Tupac like, yo, I wish I could punch him in the face because he's just confusing.
That West Coast accent really threw me off too.
And I got older and I'm like, yo,
Drake ass nigga.
if I had a microphone when I was that age and I could go back and look at the stuff I was saying, I probably would have sounded like a nut.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right,
so I came to respect it later on. But Pac is that dude. Big was that dude.
Yeah, they both was that dude, man. I can respect Pac. I mean, like you say, his life is a walking contradiction. Like people could say that about him, but I just think everybody's is, like you said. Everybody goes back and forth. And I personally went through the shit myself. You know what I mean? Like me doing positive events, and then the next week I'm hosting a party. They're like, yo, damn, this nigga out there getting drunk and shit. But how you gonna do it? Like, I'm fucking
human,
grown.
fam.
Like, I'm human. I can't go party. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not on the scale of no Tupac, but I'm just saying I went through that type of shit. You know what I mean? I still go through that type of shit. Where it's like, damn, he want to do this. You know what I mean? But this, I can't. Like, I have to stop the violence event. But if I get in a fight later, then
you ain't
like, what I'm going to just get beat up?
You can't tell somebody how to react. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like Pop went through all that real shit to where like at that everyday shit to where like, okay, I could say peace to everybody, Black Panther this, but if somebody tries to do something to me later that night, a black guy, what the fuck I'm supposed to do to that black guy?
By any means necessary.
Yeah, Malcolm X. So it's like I can respect him for that, but I'm more Big. Like listen musically, I can listen to Big more. I can listen to Big more, but I respect Pop.
No, you listen to Big more. Yeah.
He's stupid.
He listens to Big more.
But I'm just saying, I still can respect Pop,
shit,
man.
You know what I'm saying?
He's stupid as shit.
Talking that shit. You know what I mean? Pac was living a lie.
My last thing.
I can't remember the last time I listened to Big like on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Shit, my last thing is like,
you can put you can listen to Pac more.
Machiavelli.
Just Machiavelli.
Yeah.
That album was crazy, bro.
Yeah,
that album was crazy. Yo, that Death Row.
We already know
run,
you 100%.
That Death Row run was crazy, man. It was really dope. Some fire shit coming out.
I just separate them two, like just from these two quotes, cause like you'll hear Big say, I just want to feed my daughter. I just want to
get money. Yeah. That's how you started Juicy off.
And then you'll have Pop. Yo, I want to change the world, and if I die doing it, then fuck it. I think those you could tell.
That was good.
Yeah, the thought process, huh?
I have one question for you on it. Do you think he changed the world? And if so, did he? How did he do it? How did he? How would he? Where has Pac's how has Pac what Pac done affected us today? Like, what do you see remnants of him?
I can answer that in one way, and I think I already just touched on it. Pac made it comfortable for people to be themselves, no matter what,
and be outspoken.
He was the first one. To me, I don't know about before my time, but he was the first one that you was able to look at and say, yo, this guy's really doing what the fuck he want to do. And he's able to be himself, but at the same time, stand for something at the same time. You know what I mean? So he made it, I think that's what he did for hip hop too. You know what I mean? For all these artists, they able to just come out and say, look, I'm doing this, but at the same time, you don't know what the hell I'm doing in my community. You don't know I just donated $1 million to where the fuck I'm from, but at the same time, you might see me on TV doing some wild shit.
I can't disagree with that. That's really good. I like.
Yeah, so it's like I think in that point, rap wise and just culture wise, period. He made it comfortable for people to just look at somebody that big and say, look, he's really being himself. Like I can do that. Like I want to be myself. Me personally, you know what I mean? I don't want to like
have to be perfect.
Yeah, I don't gotta be. You don't gotta be perfect. That's better. I mean, that's a great way to say it. You know, you don't gotta be perfect. Like you can still fuck up.
I hear you. I respect it.
Now, was his fuck ups overboard?
Shit happens.
Of course, shit happens. You know what I mean? But I fucked up mad shit. Yeah, that shit I wish I could take back. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it happened. So,
and I think Tupac, like at the end of the day, there was things that he said that was. It's like you can't really measure it as much now, but he has a lot of things that when you listen to, you know that. If I was listening to this for the last 20 years, there's a piece of that what he said that influenced my thinking.
That's right.
And there was a whole lot of stuff
that
Pac says that's like, yo, what he's saying right now, like listen to The White Man's World. Listen to that. That shit is today.
That's today. Like
his music that stuff is today. Like I can listen to that and be like, yo, that's what I just seen on the news. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
75 million records sold to this day.
Big, I can't do that as much. Big is more of an entertainment. And don't get me wrong, Big might help me personally. I might, like you said, the suicidal thoughts. There might be something there for me personally that I can hear. Because I like that the same thing with Jay-Z. Jay-Z is say little things that it's like, yo, that little thing he said. I think, actually it's funny because I think Jay is like kind of the in-between of both.
Yeah, he's a mixture of both of them.
You know what I mean? But
that's why I think he's better than both of them.
Yeah.
That's why I think Jay was better than both of them. He's a mixture. He took it from yeah, hell yeah.
He Diddy too.
Rap wise and business, of course, business wise, but rap wise. He
took I think I would say he definitely took a page out of both their books. What would have been their books.
Exactly. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. And it took a smart person to be able to even do that. Look back and
so musically, there should be no more comparing Tupac and Big.
No, I don't think
it should be Tupac and Hov.
Whoa.
It's just that we always compare them.
What?
We always
Tupac and Hov.
Get the fuck.
They always they get compared because like they
are you talking about based on body, based on amount of work?
No, I'm fucking
both of them.
I was about to say because he over here like
Yeah.
No,
you could though.
If you gotta go body of work.
Oh, amount of work?
Yeah, if you go
that's not fair though.
This the thing.
No, it's fair with Tupac and Jay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It ain't fair with Tupac and
Big.
Big.
You were like kicking Biggie out like fucking
No. I'm not kicking him out. I'm just saying
it's hard to make that.
I like that. Yeah.
Like I say,
I get what you're saying. I misinterpreted
Biggie is Bo
that.
Jackson. He
should
have been the greatest, but we never got to see.
In that short amount of time, before they peak, man.
I don't know, and not to get off topic, but how do you feel? Like it's crazy. Everybody said that Biggie had, only 2 albums. Pun had 2 albums.
Oh man,
Big L had 2.
Nah, he had a couple.
Nah, he had 2.
Two.
He had the first one that I bought when he was on top of the buildings.
That kind of tease of a dice game was crazy.
Then,
the lifestyles of the lifestyle.
That nigga right there was ahead of his time.
But that's what I'm saying. So how do you feel? Like this is a topic.
Ebonics.
This might be a topic for another show.
7-minute freestyle.
Jesus, he killed Jay.
Big
look,
picture.
This might be a topic for another show. But
don't start.
How do you feel? Hold on.
Sorry. Go ahead.
But how do y'all feel?
Biggie without Puffy.
I like what as far as what man.
Nah, you're wild.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
How do you feel about people putting, like, because if we say these guys was the greatest and they only had 2 albums out or 1 album out, how do you feel when people were putting them up there? Like you could put a guy like Big L and you can say, yo, he's better than Nas. Like to me, there's fucking no way.
I think the style.
They're different styles.
But
I don't say that. I don't say
styles. Everybody got different styles. Tupac got a different style than Big, but we sit here comparing them all day. So how can you put a guy like Big L over Nas? With that very limited body of work.
Who the hell would put...
I wouldn't do that.
I'm saying there's people that do that, though.
I wouldn't know how they would do that.
Yeah,
Pun, that doesn't make any sense.
Big Pun.
Like, some people hold
the Now, was they nice as shit? Hell yeah.
Pun, if you compare, like Pun and Biggie, I mean, that's a fair argument, maybe.
No, not for me. I think they're 2 different people.
Skill-wise. Because there was stuff I'm ready to. Remember how you said that?
Who's a better lyricist? Big pun or big?
Oh, pun bow.
See, this is the thing though. Like when people say lyricist, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
Because I hear people say Biggie was a better lyricist than Tupac.
He was.
If I'm listening to what you wrote down,
That
10
you are a
years ago,
lyricist.
Yeah, you're a lyricist.
That's lyrics.
Yeah.
It don't got to be tricks and bars.
Yeah,
I wrote something
you're playing
that
on words and
resonated
shit like
with
that,
the
like-
crowd.
Yeah, and I go with
More
more
than
direction.
the
I go
rest
with
of them.
direction and style
Yeah.
more so than lyrics. Because I mean,
Imagine if Martin Luther King was up there saying complicated speeches. Would he be a better speaker? No, he says something that resonated with people
Yeah.
more.
I think they
You
talk
know what
about.
I mean?
I think
Like-
they talking about like your technique.
Yeah, I know,
The
but
wordplay, the way you're playing. I mean,
And
your
I
structure,
agree, but they
like,
can't say
that's what big guys-
lyricist. They got to stop.
No,
using
that's
the term
that's stupid
lyricist.
because if you
Yeah,
come up with your own
right.
idea, you come up with your own idea.
you're a lyricist.
Yeah,
You're
you're a
right.
lyricist.
Like me, I'm a poet. I write my own shit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a lyricist.
Right.
Yeah, but I feel you.
And like even a
That makes
better
sense.
lyricist, somebody might be more technical
Yeah, they should say
bars
that.
and,
Yeah.
and styles and flipping,
Yeah.
but that don't make him a better lyricist.
Biggie had more bars.
I don't know, man. It's hard to compare. I get what you're saying.
They're
and
different styles, though. They are different
Yeah,
styles.
there
like
are
this.
people out there that will do some shit like that, but I just call them irresponsible.
I could say a
You know what I'm
dope
saying?
bar and it's like a joke. I could say some real shit. After you heard the dope bar, how many times is it amazing to hear that dope bar again once you get it?
Right.
The real shit stay with
They
you.
stay with you.
You can hear that real shit over and over again and it stay real.
That's
So
why
to
Pac-
me,
that's why Pac.
yeah, that's why I say to do that is a greater lyricist sometime than a dude who can do some technical stuff.
Yeah, I think Biggie did both, though, in my opinion.
Yeah,
he did,
I think he did. I think
That's
he
what I
did.
said. I feel like I just wanted to. My argument
He was
on
way
Big
more
was that
polished.
people kind of try to put him as this one-dimensional rapper, and I just can't.
He wasn't one of the best.
No, I'm not saying anybody in this room has. I've just heard that throughout my life, and I just be like, nah.
I just
Listen to
won't- I
Ready
just
to
won't
Die.
say
That was
skill-wise,
a very,
he was
very
A1.
versatile.
Skill-
Yeah.
I just
Wise,
want to
he
say
up
he's
there with
versatile.
anybody.
I don't think he was as versatile as Pac.
No, I think so. I think he was actually more versatile than Pac because Pac had one style throughout his whole, all his albums.
Not subject matter.
No, I'm talking about
No,
flows.
his style, yeah, Big
We're
Flow,
talking
yes.
about technical.
Yeah, Big
you
was
know?
more
Oh,
versatile.
well, yeah.
Look at how he
Big
went
more
up with
versatile.
Bone and Biggie. That,
Well, he was
that
a
fucking crazy. I blew my mind.
Yeah, flow wise
Yeah.
and punchlines and
And
He definitely had him on that.
And
Yeah.
just how he was,
That's
just
how
his
Pac
ability to
wasn't aiming for
adapt,
that.
his ability to adapt. Like when he did that shit with Bone and Biggie, I was like, how the fuck? Like I was like, yo, because the fast rapping style
he
was
did
new.
throw a shot at Pac on that too.
Yeah,
They
and it was just
a lot of
like,
people didn't peep that.
yeah, oh really?
Well, not really a shot, but just like when he said so-called beef with
And you know who? Yeah, fucking
yeah.
female stars or two. Yeah. Anyway,
something like.
I don't know.
That's right.
All right, y'all want to wrap it up?
Yeah.
So I guess in the end, all we realized is that Pac and Biggie were both human.
Basically.
They're human at the end of the day,
Human.
and their music, both of their music are timeless, and they just great. But Jay-Z's better. So
Hov is that dude, though. I can't even hold.
Hov was on another level, man. But he had more time though. So rest in peace to Big and Pac.
Facts.
It was a hell of an episode.
Yeah,
We talked about a
this
lot.
was fire. I got to get some shit off my chest. I feel like Gene Dill right now.
I hope both of their murders like end up being solved, man. Because it's just like it seemed like that's like a black cloud
It sucks.
over hip hop. In a
sucks.
sense. I mean, that shit needs to be figured out, man.
Man.
I mean, it's more so. I look at it more so if it was some fucking extra shit behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna be honest. That I'm almost afraid to find out because of that.
Yeah,
Damn,
because
because
I would like, yeah. You
Like,
starting
who
to
the
hear
fuck-
shit
somebody
about
did
Diddy
something.
and stuff.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I heard that shit about Diddy. I'm like, ooh, this is weird.
But that's my reason. That's what I'm saying. That right there is my reason for wanting to know. Because if he did some fucking snake shit and got Big killed, and we sitting here just blaming Pop, and it was Big and Puffy was behind some shit, then that'd be crazy, man.
A lot of people do point fingers at.
No,
Suge
they
and
do.
Diddy.
They do.
Suge and
But that's what I'm
Diddy.
saying. If it comes out that right there
I
is
think
true.
if Diddy would have did that, he would have did it like Suge and have Biggie record a whole lot more music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yo, y'all gotta watch.
Record all this music, then I'm gonna kill you because I own it.
Y'all gotta watch that documentary, Murder Rap.
I did.
Yeah, I watched that joint.
You did?
It's good.
I
Yeah.
watched it. Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But yeah, it definitely was a hell of an episode. We gotta do this again. Maybe go deeper into it.
Yeah, I want
don't
to talk
know.
about Big L too. I want to talk about a lot of people.
Yeah, we definitely gonna touch on a lot of different rappers that had it. Yeah.
All right, man.
Make sure y'all subscribe.
Meek and Drake.
Make sure y'all subscribe. He said
Yo,
Meek and Drake.
like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell. It's Bussin' It Up
fam.
podcast/blog. Yo, this was dope. I'm Tony, Wayne.
D. Will.
Mike.
Appreciate you.
And we out here.
Salute to
Biggie's
Tupac
better.
and Big.
Biggie's better. Biggie's
Hov,
better.
Jadakiss.
Biggie.
Thug life.